welcome to episode 159 of Cowboy Shit. My name is Ted Stovin. He is Dustin Edwards, and I guess it's a little bit of an international show this week, Dustin. I'm in just outside of Phoenix right now. You are in downtown Calgary, and NFR is going on. The Flames are playing Colorado tonight. It's Monday. Monday Night Football just wrapped up. I'm in Gators Family Fantasy Football League, and I did not make the playoffs. I lost my match today, but I think I made the playoffs in 2 out of 4, so I'll take that. Not bad.
You're batting 50%. That's good.
Yeah, not as good of a season this year, but that's okay.
And his family's serious players, so
they're serious. So I did not bad to get 7th on the season so far. Just take that.
that's
Missed it by 1.
football.
I don't know if I can hang with the Petrecki Family Football League. It's actually the funny thing is I think Kaylee, it's her first year in it. She's like first by like a mile. Like she's just kicking everybody's ass. It's awesome.
Glorious.
But Dustin, so like I said, NFR is on. I'm down here. We drove down here earlier in the week. I guess a week ago today we took off, but took a couple days, like a day and a half to get down there. I guess we got to Vegas on Tuesday afternoon. Did a few things. Hung out with Corb. Actually had a really fun time with Corb at his show on Thursday. Corb and Mel. What else did we get up to? We were supposed to go to the rodeo, but oh man, I forgot all about this. So Wednesday morning, we're staying at the Virgin, which is the old Hard Rock, just off the strip. And I went to school at UNLV in 2010 in the fall, I believe I went down there. And then only was 1 year and finished in the spring of 11. But Storm had never really been on the campus, and we have the dogs with us because we drove down here and we're doing the Phoenix tour and going to fly back before Christmas. But I was like, oh, we'll go walk on campus like at UNLV because it's probably like from what I remember, it's a nice spot. There's real grass over there. Like it's not busy like the strip. It'll be pretty clean, like pretty nice spot. And we head over there and pick up our credentials too, right? Because they're all right off the Cox Pavilion between the Thomas and Mack and the in the school. But we're walking around the school and it's a beautiful day. It's like 20 Celsius and cruising around and go by the stock pens where all the animals are housed and everything. And we're just walking around the campus, and I recognized some of the building names, and I was like, I didn't really remember a lot of the buildings I went to class in, but I remember I was like, oh, I definitely went to that Panda Express, and this was the bookstore. And have you ever had Panda Express much, Dustin?
I had Panda Express one time.
One time, yeah. So yeah. I'm a big fan of that place. I ate there pretty often when I was having lunch. But anyways, we're walking around. We see like the Student Union building. The library was super nice there. There was, anyways, it was beautiful walk in the morning. We were gone for like 2 hours. We left at like probably 9:30, and I think Storm said she checked her phone at 11:30. And by the time we got our passes and got back to the room, it was like probably 11:45. Go back to the room, and then but by like little like 12:05 or something, we were back on the road, headed down to the outlet mall. We wanted to go check out some stuff down there, and we get stuck in this traffic, and there's cops going everywhere, and there's shit going on. And I had seen some cops kind of on the one road, like Harmon, one goes by that beer house thing by the stock pens and everything, going back to the university. And we got stuck though going south, like the airport road, the main airport one that's like Paradise and Tropicana. So Paradise is the southbound road that goes right to the airport, that like anybody who's been to Vegas knows that road because you're taking it to go to the airport usually to go back to fly out, right? So
was that like Top Golf?
No, Top Golf is further to the north and a little more back to the west. But anyways, it's like right by the Thomas and Mack, like right in front of everything there. And so we get stopped in traffic, and we're talking to my friend Clay Handback. He works with the Wrangler network crew. And so I just called Clay. I was like, hey, I got an idea for next week. And then we got talking with him, and then there's cops showing up everywhere, and then the cops not letting the traffic through. And then I kind of try and bail out. And before I can get out of the way, the cop comes and puts cones in front of us, and there's more cops coming. And then there's like a tank rolls by with like army looking guys in it and a full SWAT team. And then there's a helicopter circling all around us. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? And Clay gets on his computer or phone or something, and he's like, holy shit, Ted, there's a shooting at UNLV like 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So these guys all have like fully, like the cops, like I kind of wanted to get out of there. I'm like, fuck, if there's people shooting each other here. Like, I don't want to be anywhere near it. Why are they holding us here? What's going on? So, but Clay's like, yeah, there was a shooting at UNLV, and I was like, holy shit, we just walked our dogs there earlier in the day. So it was quite the start to the week. But if anybody that knows what's going on, they had canceled the rodeo the first night. Obviously, they had to, but three people died that day on campus, and we missed it by about 15 or 20 minutes. We got, I think it was kind of, I don't know for sure, but I think it happened on like the third floor of some building at the school. So we wouldn't have been maybe close to it, but just to get locked down and stuck there for part of the day would have been pretty wild. Or who knows what else would have happened. But we got we got awfully lucky missing the shooting at the school. But here we were
That's
just
damn
going to take.
wild.
Pardon?
That's damn wild that the fact that you were right on the campus and
Yeah, walk through
what
everything.
was
Yeah,
going down. I seen some
nuts.
interviews with some of the guys that were in the Thomas and Mack, and they kind of told them to lock down, and it's pretty wild shit, man. Wild you were there. This feels like something that would happen to Gator, not Ted
Yeah,
and the Wee.
right. Yeah, not Ted and Storm and the Wiener Dogs, right? We're usually pretty unassuming, but so yeah, it was pretty wild. But even to get stuck in the traffic, like I was kind of freaking out. I was like, I kind of just want to get the hell out of here and get going. But then, so I called a bunch of my American friends. I was like, guys, what do I do? Like, do you like bail out of here? And they're like, no, it's under control. And I got thinking more, and I'm like, yeah, I guess if there's like 100 cops here, it's probably very unlikely anybody's gonna freak out and get anybody of us in traffic. But it made kind of sense because they were trying to clear the roadway so they could get the first responders to the different places onto the school, get people to hospitals. Like they were trying to shut things down so they could move traffic and get people around. So it made a lot more sense at that point. But I was pretty worried at we already had missed it once, and then I thought, oh geez, so we realized that we just missed it on campus, and then I think we're getting into it in the on the road too. But I don't know what all went down on that at that intersection, but it seems like maybe the person or whatever, like the shooter maybe ended up over there in some capacity. I don't know if that was the case or not, but it sure seemed like it based on what the police presence that assembled in that corner. But yeah, the finals is back in business here. I'm kind of honestly surprised they got going again in just one day. But I guess unfortunately this kind of thing is happening quite a lot in America. So maybe it's
But
I
maybe
don't know.
like maybe people who aren't like super familiar with rodeo that listen, like the Thomas and Mack is a UNLV building, like it's on the
Yeah,
campus. So
on the campus. Yeah,
that's what maybe some people don't realize. And I even seen some people commenting on posts on Twitter about them canceling. Like some people didn't even realize that the building's on the campus where the shooting was. So it
yeah,
was very much connected. And it's UNLV's
yeah, yeah. The
basketball.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
it's literally their basketball arena that they use, 8 months of the year, whatever the basketball season is. And like when I went to school there, I parked my car in the parking lot of UNLV, and I walked in front of and around the Thomas and Mack every single day going to class. And for the what do you call it? The rescheduling of the perf to go at Wednesday at 10. I never realized it, but somebody mentioned they're like, yeah, like we can't have the perf. Like kids are in finals right now and final exams are on. Like we can't shut down the school for this rodeo during the middle of our final exam schedule. Like that's how close that's how close the school is to the Thomas and Mack. So it was, yeah, pretty wild
yeah.
set of events, but and pretty crazy that it happened, that quickly, right? Like it was, what was it? It was Wednesday, and then the rodeo happened again Friday. But pretty crazy that they cancel a perf and then reschedule it for a morning. It's, by the time the show's out, that other perf will have happened. And if we were in town, I guess we could have went, which would have been kind of wild to go see like basically an NFR Slack performance. Like people are winning
What
30,000
you want
around, and
the
there's nobody
you want
there.
people to be allowed in?
Yeah, if you had a credential, you would have been allowed to go watch it. So, or you are allowed to go watch it. So, yeah, not going to make it up there for it, but pretty interesting deal,
Yeah, a lot of firsts. It'll feel like COVID again when no one was in watching sporting events.
right? Yeah, geez. But anyways, finals I think's going pretty decent. Hey, like Zeke did pretty good. Was first for a while, and by the time the show by the time you listen, he might be first again. Hopefully, Bo Cooper has done well by the time the show airs. Jared Parsonage just about won a major check. Won the round though. Good for Jared. Won $40,000. So he comes out of it with a
Colin
solid
won,
week.
Colin won almost 40.
Yeah, he's done well. What
Jordy's
else?
struggling in the Bulls, hasn't wrote anything yet. Hopefully by this
Yeah,
Flaring, he's got a couple
Fingers
covered, and
crossed. Yeah, Ben Anderson and who else? And Dawson and Leighton. They've all kind of been a little bit behind, so hopefully they can.
Has drawn really tough. He has really
Yeah.
hasn't done anything good on the draw yet. So hopefully hopefully after this podcast comes out, everybody's ready to get there.
Hopefully all of our data is completely wrong by the time this thing airs. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But we got a big announcement coming up on the show too. I forgot to mention that off the top, but at the start of the interview here, we talked with Blair Vold and Don Johansen. Duane Robinson, had a lot of fun talking with those guys the other day, and then Donnie and Duane and I got some golf in today as well. So that was a fun time. They might have beat me by a stroke or two, but I got them on the par threes. Won all their money on the tick game, so that was good.
Take their cash any day.
Right. Let's talk more about the NFR stuff on the bottom half though, Dustin. Let's get right to the interview. How's that sound?
Sounds good, buddy. Let's talk golf and rodeo and combination
at the end,
of both.
Right? Yeah. So once again, make sure to get your cowboyshit.ca. We got a lot of good stuff on the website. There's some Christmas promos running right now. Make sure to use check your emails or watch social for all the promo codes happening. But
500,000 downloads.
Oh yeah, that was cool too. 500,000. So we were actually at Corb's show that night that it all went down. So we were having a drink there, and I might have had a couple too many that day. We got a little out of hand, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, pretty cool though. 500,000. I want to say I haven't logged into Podbean since I saw that, but kind of neat to get to that milestone. So here's to the next one. What, 1 million? Hopefully 1 million here pretty soon.
1 million downloads, Eddie.
Fingers crossed. We'll keep rocking. But anyways, thanks, Dustin. Thanks for doing the show here, and everybody enjoy the news coming up next year. The interview with Blair and the crew, and some big news out of Ponoka. So stay tuned. We'll catch up with you here in a bit. Once again, this is Cowboy Shit. My name's Ted Stovin. He's Dustin Edwards. Thanks for joining us.
'Cause it starts at 8 o'clock. It's the finals, the NFR, the series of the sport. Hey, rookie, can you take 10 head? Have you got the heart? You think you're a tough cowboy? We'll find out in the end when that final whistle blows and the stock's all in the pen.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It's been we've been on the run here for a little while, but Storm and I and the crew, we made our way down to meet Mr. Don Johansen. Been on the show a number of times now, so Don's going to help with this show, as well as Mr. Duane Robinson on my right, your left, for everybody watching. But we're here at Ralph and Del Vold's place, Mesa, Arizona, with our guest today. He's a three-time past president and board member for kind of like lifetime board member of the Ponoka Stampede. You've likely seen him and heard from a lot of his family members on the show before. But Blair Vold, thanks for having us on the show. Thanks for having us at the place today.
Nice to be here with you, Ted.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. So the big news today, Blair, let's start off with the first things first. Ponoka Stampede 2024, we've got a huge increase in prize money. So why don't you tell us about that first off?
Yes, we had a board meeting this fall, and we had a great great year attendance with rodeo fans. So we decided to give a prize increase of $5,000 an event and all the major events, plus an increase in the amateur events right across the board. So we passed it right back on to the Cowboys. So now we're at $60,000 an event, which and double prize money in the team roping also.
Yeah, $120,000 in the team roping between the head and the heel now,
right,
which is enough to make the Canadian finals for
right,
anybody in the team roping if they're winning the Ponoka Stampede now, and it's a huge boost to get towards the NFR too.
Well, yes, anybody that comes out of Ponoka with a buckle, pretty well guaranteed them into the Canadian finals wherever they're sitting.
It's already
has
done more
that.
now.
Done that. Now it's going to be more. So and it's going to be good for everybody, for fans and everybody to watch. I think we'll draw the top contestants once we always do, and we also increase the stock contractors money too. So you just kind of everybody gets a raise. We give it all right across the board.
And the truck wagon side of things, I don't know. I've never really I don't know what their payout is, but they're $425,000 in 2024 as well. Is that an increase too?
No, it's on a progressive contract.
They already had a contract. Okay.
Already in a contract, so we'll renegotiate. I think they're in their second year or the third year.
I see. Okay.
But they've got the $75,000 dash for cash, which is the highest on the circuit too.
Yeah.
So it's
it even pays more than the one little south of us.
right. So we're just under, with total prize monies, we're just just under $1 million.
Yeah.
Which is
Unbelievable.
for a small town of Ponoka.
So what is it, 6,000 people or 4,500?
Close to 7,000 people
Yeah,
in Ponoka.
7,000
Or
people.
over 7, I guess. But it's still, it's we run over 103,000 fans through last year.
103,000. Was that an all-time record?
Yes, it is.
Really,
We're just-
103,000?
Yeah.
In
We're
7
outgrowing
days.
the infrastructure of our town almost, when you get that many people coming through.
Because you have a town of 7,000 people to have 103,000 people in the town. It grows by 10 times, more than 10 times.
Yes.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's...
Donnie, how big's Strathmore just in comparison? Like, tell us just a little bit of numbers if you're allowed to say kind of what.
Well, Strathmore is around 45,000.
45,000 people. And you have, would you guys sell 60,000 tickets in Strathmore on a weekend?
That I couldn't answer you.
Don't know. I'm curious. I don't even know what it would be.
Yeah, no,
If
but
4
it's not
days
even.
probably-
It's not close to what Ponoka does. That's for sure.
For changing the structure of everybody. Yeah. Interesting. So huge increases though to go from like even just double money in the team roping. Like just to talk about that, I know there was a big. It was CVS. They were a big part of the sponsorship of those events last year. Is that right?
Yes.
In the tie down and the team roping, they sponsored both of them partially, or did they sponsor the header or healer, or what was it?
I think
I
they
forgot
wanted.
what it was.
I got to check with our sponsor guy, but I'm pretty sure it was in the team roping that he was a big part of bringing the money back up to where it was. So.
Because increasing the prize money is a big deal, but to go and do it with at some rodeos where it's a $3,000 added rodeo, it's maybe a little bit. The economics are a little bit easier to equalize that when you're.
Yeah.
When it's 55 grand, it's a bit of a paycheck.
Well, we do. It's something else to see. We got all the major events there, and they're all. Them guys come out of there with a pretty good paycheck. Them team ropers, I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's big money for them.
I know they appreciate it. I talked to. I forget who I even talked to this year about it, but somebody was very, very adamant about how important it was that it now is equal, and it was part of some of the ruling on the PRCA side. Don, I know you and I talked about that with Strathmore, where you have to have the equal money for some of the sanctioning rules moving forward.
It is part of our dual contract with the PCRA.
PRCA, I see. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of places we can go here, but that's the biggest news is the pay increase, and comparatively, I'd be curious to know what other towns of a size of Ponoka have an event that big that pay that kind of money. Like, I don't think there's, like, Duane, you're shaking your head and thinking, I'm like, I don't know where else would even be kind of comparable. It's pretty incredible what you guys have done in Ponoka.
Well, for a rodeo that started in 1936, we're 7 days where we used to be 1 day, and it used to be a county fair. But where it's grown and progressed, I've seen over my years there is now we got the total new grandstands and the suites, and we're having probably 4 concerts this year.
4 concerts.
4 concerts. We got 3 already booked, but we're working on an opening night concert as well.
Which would be Tuesday?
That'll be Tuesday night, right? So if we have the concerts are become a big part, we're really giving back to the fans. So it's going to be it's a lot of volunteers and a lot of work for the directors after the show. We're not done.
How many volunteers at the Stampede?
I know there's over 700.
700.
We have a volunteer supper right after the rodeo, and it fills the big dance hall up. So it's a lot of people in town. They take their holidays. Some people in their 3rd or 4th generation volunteers from their family. They just want to be part of the Stampede to give back to the community and also to the service groups. There's over 50 of them that make their funding right out of Ponoka every year.
For their whole year is just
right
on the Ponoka Stampede. So this year, June 25th to July 1st, we're going to end on a Monday.
Yes.
Which is usually that's a pretty fun one because everybody's kind of got the day off, and it's Canada Day, so it'll be that'll be a huge party on the finish this year, won't it?
Well, it'll be a huge party every night, but it'll be a big Monday. No, it's going to be good. No, it's good. We got some great acts coming too. We got the One Arm Bandit booked for.
Yeah, he hasn't been there in quite a while, right?
Last time he came up with the Buffalo, we just about had to get him out of jail because he didn't have his paperwork right. But he's.
Oh, really?
I just met with him 2 days ago, and he's he's coming up again with his horses. He's got a zebra and 2 wild Mustangs, and then we got Piper Ewell. She's going to open.
Piper.
Piper's
She
coming
hasn't-
too for the week, but she's got a new
right
act
on.
she's working on, jumping over a convertible car. I talked to her mother the other day, and hopefully she's got that open. She's going to open to try it at the Ponoka Stampede. So
Is that convertible car one that happens to live at your house?
well, I'm going to mention it to her. I'd like her to with the big horns on it, and I'd like Donnie to sit in the seat when she jumps over.
Donnie, how much does Donnie get any danger pay for that job?
No, we're moving him now back behind the buck and shoots. We're scared he's going to get hit.
Where are you going to put him in the car?
You know, he's still in charge of the shoots. He's got one guy in front. Kale's going to be
In the danger zone.
In the danger zone. So we had a discussion, and Donnie's agreed with that and that's his suggestion. So that's what we're doing. So it's going to be. He joins the ship there. He runs it. We have production meetings. We start this winter, and we work on it all winter, and get it down to the. Well, you've been to them too, Ted. We're down to the minute. We like to run a two
down to
and a
the
half
second.
hour show, and that's what the fans want, because we have to have turnaround time to get people out and in for the chucks right away. So
Well, because sorry, go ahead, Duane. You got one there.
Well, no, I was just interested because I know the number from before, but I'm interested with this new prize money that you've added. Where does that put us in North America as far as the top paying
Yeah.
rodeos in North
I would,
America?
that's a good answer. That Amber would have to, or
I can figure it out. I'll do some research while you guys are deliberating.
yeah, because it's.
Yeah.
I think I know we're the biggest rodeo on the Cowboy Christmas week,
Yeah.
although in North America, but where to put us in the statue of. Well, there's so many different things now that Calgary's back in the game, so I think I don't. You'd have to look at.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
It's there is I used to look at this list in the media guide. Like every year, there's a new media guide, and there's the list of the.
Yeah.
There's top by committee purse, and then the top 10 by total payout because of the entry fee side of things. So,
but I'm talking.
Ponoka's always been top 10
Yeah, I'm talking the 954. That's with the chuck wagons.
with the chuck wagons. Yeah,
Right,
which
so you
wouldn't
got-
be on the PRCA side of things. But if you, I mean, in Canada, it's Canadian finals would be like $1.5 million, I think. Donnie, you're showing me some stuff. We can't talk about that, but anyways, we'll leave that part. But it'd be third biggest in Canada, and then in the world side of things, you got obviously San Antonio, Cheyenne, Houston, and Calgary. So it might be 5th, 6th, 7th. I'd have
I
to
would think we're right up there now with
yeah.
what it's going to be.
I'm gonna figure this out here at some point, but what does it mean for Ponoka to be in that top 10? Like that's is it a goal on the list of the board of directors?
I don't think we're done our goals yet.
Yeah. What else is on the
you know,
list?
there's other things are coming up. We're just going to now. We're going to start to do something for the Cowboys, kind of a hospitality tent and in behind in the infield. Just
Is Donnie going to be the control on who gets in, or is that Duane's new gig, or what? You be the shoot boss and the.
They try to keep me out.
No, it's going to be for the sponsors and
contestant families?
contestants and families, and we've seen a lot of some other roadies that have it, and it's I think it's a real good PR on our side, but as far as infrastructure going, we're always building something on the grandstand for more handicap and
accessible seating, yeah.
Yes, and more bathrooms. We never run out of them, and it all adds up. But we're helping actually. Our girls helping Strathmore help, and they're putting up their new suites this year too. So
oh yeah, that's right. Donnie.
Yeah, we always try to work together with other committees to help their show. It's not all about Ponoka, but it's we communicate with a lot of other committees and we're doing a lot of more safety stuff as it gets on. Everybody's got to go through a course if they're driving a tractor or a golf cart, and and we have a safety coordinator now hired, and I think we're sharing it with Strathmore also, and just improving rodeo, and just with changing things that happen all the time, we just got to be on top of it. So we really have to be full aware of what we're doing.
Yeah, Ponoka is so important to all the rest of the committees and the CPRA because Ponoka sells American cards.
Yeah,
it
true,
sells cards.
Yeah.
And that's with Ponoka increasing this prize money. Hopefully, we'll get some more Americans. That'll, we can't have them at our rodeo if they don't buy their card.
True.
Right?
Yeah,
and if
'cause
they
you gotta
buy
have
their
a card
for Ponoka, then we've got a chance to get them at Strathmore or other rodeos.
Yeah, Armstrong end of the year or Grand Prix at the start of the year to get them going up here to get their count.
And they've set the goal for a lot of the committees. Like I'm involved in Strathmore, but everything I know about, with the rodeo and stuff is what I've learned over the years from Blair and the guys at the Ponoka Stampede board. They're a great bunch of guys, and so they help. It's they're a major impact to the rest of the committees and the Rodeo Association. Ponoka is.
I want to go back to your time in Ponoka and getting started on the board of directors. I was talking, doing some research before we got started, but it's not just first generation people on the board at this point. Sometimes it's second, third generation. Like this is kind of a it's a volunteer part of what you've done for so long, and I always wonder about the why on the volunteer side, and why get involved, why because I personally I don't think I end up doing a lot of volunteer stuff, or maybe I don't think about it. Like I've done a lot of the stuff with the Ty Posabon Foundation over the years and shipped I don't know how much stuff we shipped out of our basement doing that kind of thing. So that's a volunteer side of it, but I gotta tip my hat to everybody that's on the volunteer side. Donnie, yourself on the volunteer side at Strathmore, and I wonder what the why is. But I want to ask you, Blair, about how did you ever get started on the Ponoka side as a volunteer?
It goes back to my father was a past president and board member for years. He was a senator. Once you get off the board, if you're past president, you become a senator. Then my grandfather, Hector Labrie, he was one of the founders and early presidents back in the early 50s and 40s.
Yeah.
But that's when they started the growth of the Stampede was when he was there, because it was just a field up there in the hill with no fence around it and
nothing. And then we were talking on the way over, but Ralph was one of the ones that decided, or he was the one that said we need to put a fence up. So
no, it was my grandfather.
Your grandfather?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
really?
just said there were too many free people watching.
Too many freeloaders.
So they put the fence up to keep the freeloaders out from watching the wagon races and the chariot races.
But you're putting on a product, and you're putting up thousands and hundreds of thousands and now millions of dollars for a show. You can't give it away.
No.
There's a reason why the Calgary Flames play inside an arena, because you got to buy a ticket to go watch them.
Well, it's the same. And we do give, they've got free camping and parking, which that's the biggest plus we have. And I know Strathmore does too. And a lot of the rodeos do. And they can come and afford, it's just a little easier to just accommodate everybody that way. And that's our big draw.
But so going back to the volunteer side, what year did you start on the Ponoka Stampede as a volunteer? I
was always volunteer. I usually started when my dad was on the board. I started out in the infield putting barrels up and throwing stoves in the back of the wagons, or taking stoves out of the wagons. And as kids, we all had to be there and help and pick rocks around the track. And then I got on the board when I was really in my late 20s, 28, I think, and I've been.
You got to talk into the mic, Don.
That was a long time ago.
I didn't want to ask what year it was.
Well, I don't know, but Donnie
asking that.
Donnie was still riding bulls in, I think.
So this was so it wasn't quite 1936.
No, but I've been on, and I'm probably on my last years coming up here now. On my son Nansen, he's hopefully going to be put on the board and carry on the Vold name. And they on all our board members. We've got just father sons on there now, and we've got brothers. Joneses. We got the Klein boys.
Klein's brother, yeah.
Yeah, and we got Bruce Harbin, who past president. His dad was Gary. He was a good friend of mine, a great guy. And Butterfield are on there, and it's a real bunch of rodeo businessmen type of deal, and that's how we run it. And it's just a pleasure to be associated with them great bunch of people now. So we we have good board meetings. We meet once a month, and we get your shit done.
Once a month.
Yeah.
And volunteer meetings once a month.
Yeah, well, it's a board directors meetings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we-
sorry.
and-
Yeah, board
And we
meetings.
do like Rick Orsba, our new president now. He's in Vegas, and he was trying to round up the Wright brothers the other day to see what to get them to come across the line and come up to Canada, but they just said we got to talk to our dad. That's the way the Wright boys run. So
Yeah. It still all runs through Cody or what?
I think so. I don't know what he was real nice. So Stetson Wright we talked to. So
Yeah.
and so but we had we get a 50% just about is American cowboys and cowgirls come, and it's been like that, and that's good. And usually it's about half Americans win here and half Canadians win. So we got a good competitive entry of contestants.
Donnie?
It's really something when you can look back at your Stampede and you got 4 generations that have been on that board.
Yeah.
3 to 4 generations. That's something.
How much are your family doing? Like almost everybody?
As far as being on the Ponoka
Yeah, part of
Stampede,
Ponoka, right? Like it's
not so much. We were
Yeah.
kind of, Dad was down in the Cochrane country, and
Yeah.
I came up. The only reason I got to hang out was I married Ralph Blair's sister.
Yeah.
Ralph's daughter, Vicky. So all I can say that we kind of threw in is a while back we used to do a bull riding on our hillside that everybody
at your
came
house.
to. That was before they had the PBR and all that going on. And it turned into a good event, and it got so big that it ended up having to go to the Ponoka Stampede to make it.
That's right.
Yeah. So-
And now that's
Now that PBR is, we won the event of the year when we first started. We're now a $25,000 PBR, and that's always the biggest night was 12,000 people.
12,000 people,
Yeah.
which is
Huge. And
I don't think there's any PBR event in the country now that would have that high of attendance anywhere
I would
in one night.
No, I think
wouldn't
that
think
would be
so.
the biggest.
Over
yeah.
2 nights, I think
Yeah.
maybe Edmonton would be higher now. Over 2 nights though at Rogers Place,
Yeah.
but I don't actually even know those numbers. But 12,000 in one place, like
Yeah.
the energy at that thing is unbelievable.
It's interesting too because you got the Chuck Wagon fans.
They stick around for a while.
Yeah, and the new there's fans that are coming for the concert that night, and then they're coming they see this PBR. So we're creating new fans into the sport.
Oh yeah,
And it's not just it's a lot of young kids I like to see, and they had the concerts. Like we pulled that dirt up after
Yeah.
the PBR and the fireworks. So it's concerts have become a big part of attachment to our rodeo.
and I didn't realize it, but you guys have to have an event on in the arena after the chuck wagon racing. Like that's part of the overall event, or it's like almost like a bit of a festival kind of atmosphere now. Like you're in a similar kind of setup as the Houstons and the San Antonios, where there's big shows going on and it's all day entertainment from kind of like 8 o'clock in the morning. Slack starts every day, or 8 or 9. I forget what the exact time is, but there's kind of something going on all day, every day. We got the trade show and the midway. You got the best midway anywhere is at the Ponoka Stampede.
Yeah, that's a big. Their midway's unbelievable. And we paved that parking lot maybe 7-8 years ago, and that's been the best addition we did for the midway. And what a great show they got up there in the Ag Event Center. They got the world's greatest horseman show going on at that time, and then the trade show like you mentioned before. There's something going on. Then they've got the big beer gardens, and we have built a new dance hall. We used to have the beer gardens across at the old arena.
Yeah, that's right.
And now we moved everything to the grounds, and that was our last deal we did last year, and holds 1,000 people, and that goes on too, right during
the whole thing all day.
Yeah, so we got bands, concerts, we got everything's going on. So there's lots for everybody to do in the whole town.
I didn't understand this at first, though. What I was trying to get at too at some point here was that these events out in the arena, like you have to keep that going because your beer gardens only holds 1,000 people. You still have, when that bull riding starts at like 9:30 at night, which is already usually past my bedtime. You kind of have to have that bull riding event and have a concert out there because your beer gardens only hold 1,000 people. Like you can still have people going in the arena and have 10,000 people on your grounds, or like 12,000 people at one time.
Yeah, we pull in the portable bars and got
Yeah.
bars all over in bathrooms. It's
And the stage is in place by that point.
and that
after the
big
chuck
screen.
wagons?
No, we got the biggest screen, I think, in Canada,
Western sports in Canada.
right now,
Yeah,
and it's
by a lot.
Yeah, and that's,
I think it's 100 and some panels, isn't it? 130
well, you know,
panels.
you're the tech guy.
I'd have to ask those guys. They've told me, but I don't remember right now.
Yeah, but it's big, and we
Almost
when we
everything
put
they
the new
have.
grandstand up out on a cross, we thought the chuck wagons couldn't see them, but you can see them better up in the big screen, so it's been good. And the suites are a big asset for us, and it's a big draw for our sponsors, and I think more rodeos are going to see that that can, like Strathmore doing right
Strathmore's
now.
doing
And
it
I
right
told
now.
Donnie right off the bat, you're going to get sponsors. They're going to say boom, and that, well, you have a suite, but you got to put in so much to the rodeo. So that's what it's just. You got to just do what they want, and they want to be looked after. And like Wrangler, I think
Duane needs his suite.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Duane
Thank you.
They brought up the president of Wrangler, has been up many times, and Jeff Chadwick, great guy, and his wife come up, and they love it. And we always think that the sponsors need to have that luxury when they want it, and they want to entertain their people.
I was just curious when we were talking about the generations.
Yeah.
It'd be Ponoka. It'd be interesting to talk to the fans who've been coming there. I bet you they come there with their
yeah.
great grandfather. You know,
That's
and,
true, yeah.
And people have had that July 1st weekend back generations. That's what they always
true.
did, was go to Ponoka Stampede. So that'd be really interesting stat. How many that are there that come with their parents
Different
or their
families,
grandparents and everything too.
Well, I bet there's I can't know how many people
Thousands.
do their family reunions there, because we've got we're just now in the process of we're purchasing some more land by the Ag Event Center and expanding more camping, because we're out of camping and parking basically. We got the river bottom where we call the Wild West Suite campground, but it's going to get filled up, and then we got more camping and parking going to be developed right across from the Ag Event Center. So
To which direction?
south.
To the south?
Yeah, we purchased with the land just south of there.
Oh, really? So how much land the Ponoka Stampede Land and Cattle Company with the cattle raffle? It's like how much space is there now with the Stampede?
That's another good question. I
don't even know that. I've never even thought about
well
that.
well over 100 acres. I know that because we have a piece across the highway, and
on the which side? On the
north side by the school there.
Oh yeah, where a lot of the camping is on that side.
That's there, and then our park for Frank Mickey Park. And then we fill up below the grounds, and we got the Wild West Suites that's down below the tunnel, and now and then we got all the contestant parking, and that's as we get out into these more events, they take up a lot of real estate, the contestants. When they come with them big trailers, you got to have some ground for them. And then the chuck wagons and the pony
Tons of
wagons.
space.
Yeah, and then we got our production areas. Oh God,
Tons of
it's
space, too.
packed in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, we're Donnie. That.
How mad do the neighbors on the South Road get Stampede Week? That's got to be some a little bit of tricky, like just dealing. And it's no offense to anybody, but this huge event has grown over the last 80 some years.
Yeah,
and the people have lived there. Those houses have been there for a long time, but they didn't know what they were getting into.
No, they don't,
right?
and we get along with them. I don't think we have any problems with them. We try to give them tickets if they want them, and we do fence off so they can't park on their driveways.
Yeah, that's good.
Then one of our maintenance fellows, he lives right there. So
that works out
That's
pretty
good,
good
and they've been good.
It's good. They understand.
Well, that's part of when they buy it, they got to know they're going to be.
Yeah, be big, 1 week a year is gonna be a little
It's
busy.
not just 1 week. It's about they start
about
coming
6
in 2
weeks.
weeks, 3 weeks ahead, and it gets active. So, but it's been a good relationship. We haven't had no trouble. We get along great with our county and our town.
And they're a big part of it too.
Big part of it, and they help support. And the Ag Event Center, we're part of that group, and it all combines. That's been a big asset to the town too, is the Ag Event Center and the Cal Nash. But it's just a nice plant. I call it a plant. Just the way it sits, and you see it on the hill. And
up on top of the hill.
Yeah, it's on top of the hill.
So, Duane, what have you seen in Blair's years at Ponoka? Like, what have you seen his contribution? What would you say it has been. I have a quote that I'm going to bring up after you speak, but I'm curious on what you think.
I'd have to say it was the whole family along with Blair. Blair just he was so involved, and it's his heart. It's what he wants to do, and he always brings up the best acts he can find. He likes to make everything successful and make sure everybody on the committee's happy. And he's been stellar. I mean, and so was his father, and so was his father-in-law,
grandfather,
yeah,
father-in-law.
They all started.
Everybody.
And Uncle Cliff, he was involved with it too. Yeah, they're all great family.
I think I on the board of directors, everybody's got their job and position, and I've been with president. I always kind of give them a free rein. I said, you guys, you want to do something, go ahead. You know, if it's
Give it a whirl.
Give it a whirl, and if we need to discuss the big deals, we'll discuss them at the meetings. Otherwise, you know, get your stuff done. You know how it works. And,
Yeah.
And everybody's
GSD, get shit done.
and they all got committee guys. They got volunteers under them that are great people too. So everybody's got their somebody behind them, and while it works, very successful way we run it, and it's just good. It's an easy board, a nice board to be on.
I gotta get into some stories. We got a few different parts to it, but Donnie, you've been there as a shoot boss for, like, is it as long as you were at the CFR or longer, or how? Like,
Yeah, a little longer. Yeah,
Longer,
I was
right?
doing Ponoka
right after you were done riding, kind of thing.
Yeah, basically about a year after I was done. Wayne actually hired me to do a couple rodeos that I was at, and then it just went from there to Ponoka. But I've been there at least 36 years. So
Was there anybody in that kind of job before? Or did you kind of pioneer, like? I'm
it
not trying to say
was
you're
Coy Hoffman, I think. It
Oh,
was-
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Coy.
He was doing it.
He was doing it.
He's
yeah.
from out of the U.S. here.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
out of the U.S. and then I just come up and I did it and
that was the Coors days too, right?
well, no,
not really?
It wasn't Coors. I was with Brahma Boots.
That was
I
Brahma?
sponsor, yeah,
Oh, okay.
because Coors wasn't doing Ponoka at the time.
I see. Oh,
And-
because it's Budweiser for a long time, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and no, so it was good and like I say with Ponoka, like they're bored with each person had their own kitchen,
Yeah.
and you were responsible for that kitchen, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
and if you didn't run it right, you heard about, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
but it's a good way, and I've taken so many ideas going to Strathmore. Like I've learned so much being around all
bet.
those guys over the years. It's and I've even in Blair and the board of directors of Ponoka, they're so good. I've brought in people into their production meetings just to see what's going on. You know, I brought the people from Grand Prairie because I was doing their production meetings and to see how it's run. And so that's a thing about Ponoka. They've really helped a lot of committees and a lot of different people that they, you know,
Over the years.
Our production, you've been part of them, Ted, too, but Donnie,
years now.
we talk all winter, and we
plans.
get a plan going, and we know what we're doing, so there's no surprises when we don't just start up the week ahead.
Yeah.
It's all pre-planned for the day, and it's it runs like a clock. We found that fans like 2.5 hours in the seats is long enough. You know, that you can get a lot of rodeos you can go to that can sit for 4 or 5 hours, maybe sometimes. But our time window was like to be around that 2.5, maybe we get to 3, depends on what happens. But
What content you got in the
Yeah.
day? Yeah.
we started. Me and Blair started the production sheet. You know that cheat?
Yeah, the
cheat
one
list?
pager. Yeah.
Just to keep everybody,
Yeah.
all the volunteers running gates, knowing exactly.
yeah,
We
you know,
started that
right at the
together.
start from old Canada.
Yeah.
We know by the minute pretty well
yeah.
where we're going. Well, you've been
Yeah, we
there.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
We're
But
getting
it's
her dialed in.
funny how it is.
It-
It
it's-
good works. We go by the minute.
The sorry, I had a thought I was on here, but we're talking about the years in Ponoka. Okay, so what I wanted to ask though, exactly, like for those that don't know, because there's people listening from kind of all over the world to this show, right? That they've heard of the Calgary Stampede, they've heard of Rodeo Houston, but Ponoka's right at the top of the list, right?
Yeah.
But talk about what your role has been over these I guess, do I say 40 some years as part of the board? I didn't.
Well,
higher. Donnie's saying higher.
I've been I took over. My dad was always
Your
hired.
entire life you've been part of it.
Yes, it is. And
Yeah.
I've been, like I said, I've been president 3 times. There's some guys have been twice, and I was fortunate to be 3 times, and I've been part of the decision making on the. There's a lot of when we started to build something, there was a lot of skepticism, and we're not going to make this work. And by God, everything we've done, we've made it work. And when the toughest challenge we've had was when COVID hit. Mm-hmm. There was really half the board didn't pretty well want to shut it down, but half did, and it got a little heated there. Though. But we obviously had to do the right thing, and we did. And nobody gets mad. If you don't get your way, you don't get mad. You just go with what the board says, and that's what's great about it. And so we make a successful rodeo happen. The fans get the best show. That's where they come, and I'd like to see. We get lots of tour buses coming with tour groups from a lot of Europeans. If you'd be surprised, would come to Ponoka.
Oh, tons of them, yeah.
Yeah, tons of them, and I just, in fact, since we've got on the Cowboy Channel now, I got some calls from people in Wyoming that I used to do cattle business with, and they watched the show, and they thought they're one of the best shows they've seen on the channel and how it was run, and now they're coming up.
Coming up to check it out now.
Yeah, they said we got to go there.
Yeah, and the feature production crew do a hell of a job. Those guys are first class.
Yeah, the best, and they're first class guys to work with, and
100%.
Everything, and the sound is good. With sound guy's not a bad guy either.
Working on it, still learning.
I don't like it.
He doesn't like them. We'll talk about the cups at some point. Now that Donnie brought out his token phrase, I don't like it. We were on our trip in Scotland, and we were having dinner one night, and Donnie, we were somewhere, and it was somewhere nice at the hotel. It was in London. Somebody was telling us about how, you got to go to this place, and there's a bunch of famous people's pictures on the wall and everything, and we get there, and it was not that good. and Donnie's the one that pipes up. He's like, I don't like it. And then that was his saying. So now, Vicky made a bunch of these cups now. So this is.
I don't like it, Donnie Joe.
There's a lot of things he don't like.
Well, Jim Nevada, when we were on the trip, we had to go out that night. We went to where to go and. For a big fancy supper.
Babs, Montana.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, Bab,
in Montana.
Okay.
Actually, Bab.
Bab.
Not an F.
Bab.
Just south of the border, south of Cardston.
We went over to the park.
Oh, Waterton Park.
Yeah. I don't like it. I didn't like
it. Oh, jeez. You did it there, too?
I didn't like it either. No. The meal wasn't good.
Oh, really?
No.
It wasn't fancy enough.
No. It wasn't fancy enough for Donnie, yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so going to, but I guess going back to I don't know what your title is at Ponoka essentially at some point, but I know that you're in charge of production. Like there's, and then Trevor Jones is doing like a lot of the sweet, like looking after a lot of the sweet stuff. And then, but then he also does a few different things, and Terry has his job. And I know Rick Klein's a huge part of the 50-50 side of things, and a lot of the other programming, and the junior jockeys is something they're doing. But you've always been in charge of rodeo production. Am I safe to say that?
Pretty well. Yeah.
Right?
I'm pretty well. I do the production meetings, and Donnie and I do, and do that, and I hire the rodeo acts, the announcers, all the announcers, and pickup men.
Yeah.
We got to work with Bruce Harbin on the pickup. We got 6 pickup men.
Yeah, you got a huge arena though. You got one of, if not the biggest arena.
And that was one of the compliments I got from the fellow was a pickup man from Wyoming. He phoned up, and he was a pickup man at the NFR and a pickup man at Cheyenne for Uncle Harry, and he said, that looks really sharp, them 6 pickup men. He said, I like that. I like it.
I like it.
But everything goes, it takes a lot of people to run that back end, for the stock, and Bob Baird does a heck of a job, and Wayne, he's got a good crew, and my son Nansen runs the PBR, bringing all the different contractors.
Oh yeah, there's how many different contractors, Duane? Like you, because you guys, like you and Nance have had some of the best bulls around for different years. And we're getting on Quagmire at your house in the backyard when he was only 3 years old, a big white muley. I made it around the corner.
We didn't think he'd buck. He was a Charlet. He was a catch calf. He came in there. We had to push him basically and shoot and kick him in
as
the
a 3-year-old.
Then all of a sudden he started to buck, and he ended up being one of our best bulls there for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. The big white. But like there's like 10 different contractors probably at that at that PBR show now, maybe more.
yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, Nansen, he's very fair. Of course, he's been the stock contract of the year 10 times.
Yeah, more than anybody ever.
So he's fair to everybody. Everybody wants their bulls. I didn't realize their bull points count for the bonuses, and
Well,
they want their best bulls.
They won 10,000 this year for PBR Canada Bull of the Year.
Yeah.
Jim Thompson, and he's been a guy that's I've known like almost my
Doing a
entire
long
career,
time.
right? Yeah. So pretty cool for Jim to go win that and had 2 or 3 bulls all in the top 10.
Yeah.
Right in it there. So yeah, big deal.
No, it is, and it shows.
Absolutely. That event is electric. Like I just haven't seen like there's not very many events in Canada that are in the dark, right? We don't have many events in the under the lights because the sun doesn't go down until 10 o'clock. It doesn't get dark till at all. Some places, if you're up north in Grand Prairie in June, the sun hardly goes down. So we don't get to have many of those events in the atmosphere like that. So to be able to have 12,000 people at a show and have them all singing along and have Ash Cooper there, egging them on like it, and Brett Gardner there for the PBR like that. That's one of my most fun days of the year, and it's one of the longest days of the year. Yeah. Having to start slack at 9 o'clock in the morning or be there, right? But we're still rocking and rolling till 1 o'clock in the morning by the time that stuff's done, and then finally put my earplugs in and go to bed because the concert's on after that.
Yeah, it does.
It's an all-nighter.
Yeah, really.
The kids love it. That'll be again Saturday night.
Yeah.
We got a big. I can't remember the singer we had coming. It's on our website, but.
Yeah, I was trying to look and remember all that stuff. But for those that are wondering, PonokaStampede.com, check out all the details.
Yeah.
But okay, I have to ask about the cattle raffle. I know it's a story that I probably knew, but that had to be something you guys created at some point in your years between VJV and the Stampede, like the.
Yeah. And Shorty Jones he started it pretty well back
he did,
then.
okay.
And Joe
What year?
Dodds was a big party. Oh God, we've been doing that for at least 25 or 30 years.
Oh, really?
And
so like late 90s or mid 90s?
Yeah, and it's grown, and it's the project, as a cattle raffle, you got to put that money towards improvements. So we built bathrooms, we've built lots of infrastructure over the years. And
what did it start out as? Because now it's 75,000 or 50?
No, it's 75,000 or 40 heifers.
40 heifers.
Yeah.
So, because I remember for a long time it was 50,000, but it probably was 25 at first.
Yeah, and then the cattle went up. So
right? The cost of cattle,
last guy took the cattle.
He took the cattle.
Oh, yeah. Well,
it
they
was way more.
Yeah,
than
but
the cash. Depends on the
we
market.
sell it out.
Yeah,
it's
like
gone
sell it out before half the rodeo.
Half the rodeo.
Yeah,
and it's good. It's a great fundraiser. It's great. We run them cattle in. We get the bulls from the Sutters Brian Sutter.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got a sale on right as I speak right now.
Oh, really?
Today.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so for those that don't know, the Sutters are in the Canadian side of things, huge hockey family and have been for years.
Yes.
Brett, they've all like a bunch of them won the Stanley Cup. Daryl was a coach of the LA Kings when they won the cup. Like huge hockey family, but huge Alberta egg family too.
Oh yeah, Brian's a good friend, and he runs a real purebred herd just out of Red Deer and Sylvan Lake there, and he's been part of our bull program and now Terry Jones is running the cattle raffle.
Yeah.
From what took over from his dad, and Joe Dodd's run it for years too, and it's gone back to Terry wanted to take it on because he wanted to be part of his history with his dad being there, and I buy Terry just gives me the rein, I buy the cattle.
Yeah.
And we got our bulls all lined up, and we put them right in our lower pasture, and turn the bulls out when the rodeo starts, and
make it work.
And they usually a lot of times they take the cash, but sitting there now, well, we've had some pretty good ranchers win the cattle, so they've taken them the last few years. But
my first year working at Ponoka doing the music the whole week, Amber Swedgen and I bought a ticket, and then we got drawn into the finals, and I got to say, I was talking on the radio to the feature guys. I was like, guys, what do I do? Do I take the cows? Do I take the cash? I was like, what? My heart was racing. I was like, oh man, I hope I can. Could you imagine if we go and win that thing? It would have been a heck of a deal. But there's been a lot of people. You've had your name drawn a couple times, Donnie.
Just once, but the best. And when I hear the cattle raffle, I always go back and the story. And Billy Kaler announced there for probably 30 years.
Yeah.
And him and Les McIntyre bought a ticket every year together. And Billy ended up passing away. And the next year, Les put on the ticket Billy Kaler and Les McIntyre, and he won it.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was the rest of the story.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
It was
You're right.
the best story of the cattle raffle. Like
Really?
for 25 years or 30 years, they bought a ticket together, and then Billy passes away, and Les still put it under Kaler and McIntyre,
No way.
and he won it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was good to see that.
Wow.
We can't, board members can't buy tickets. So.
Yeah, it'd be a bit of a conflict maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I could give you some advice, so if you might know a guy that knows
I'll
something.
have to call. I'll have to put a call in. Yeah. What other kind of things? Like, I'm just trying to think. Like, what other kind of stuff is Ponoka? I want to say invented in the rodeo world, or because there's nobody else that has a cattle raffle like that. Like, that's unique to anywhere. I'm thinking of. The long score is
Long
quite
score,
unique.
that was one of Tom Butterfield's.
Really?
He wanted in the Butterfields, and they run that in. It's run by Blake and his son.
Yeah.
And they run that, and the long score is really, it changes them Cowboys coming up.
Absolutely. And
know.
and then you guys might have to explain a bit more to me on it, and I'm still learning how it works. But is there a hand pulled barrier still? That's like still one judge pulling the barrier. Like
I don't get down to that.
you don't.
Yeah,
get to,
I think
that's not in Donnie's kitchen.
Not his department.
But somebody was telling me about this the other day, and I like somebody who's listening that's on the Ton Event side. You guys got to fill me in a bit more here. But there's actually a judge that hand pulls the barrier when he sees the steer or calf get past the barrier line. So there's a little bit more human interaction on the barrier
Right.
side of things. It's kind of a whole nother wild card where if it
how
could
does
be
your
like
clock work? You run the clock, don't you?
Sam runs the clock based on the. But that's still based on
There's got to be some electronics
Brenda
in there
and
somewhere.
Mackie doing the
Yeah.
because they got to push the button to start to start and stop the time. Like there's
Yeah.
a lot of variables that are different in Ponoka than a lot of places.
Right. Well, it's a different, and it's a good question because I don't get down there. I watch it.
We gotta have Blake, some of the Butterfield crew, tell us more about how that all
Yeah,
works.
he'll tell
at
you.
some point.
Yeah.
But what else though? Like there's the suites. Like nobody has that number of suites. Like
No.
that was kind of something you guys have pioneered in Canadian
And that
rodeo.
was, I
professional
was
rodeo.
president when we built the first set of suites. And
Above the
Buck and
chutes?
chutes, yeah.
Above the chutes.
Yeah.
Because the first grandstand was the big one, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And that was in like the 80s or when was
late,
that?
early 90s. We built that.
Early
I was
90s.
just looking at
I was
it.
born in 1990.
Yeah, that was right there, and it was a. we want where we're going to tear the old one down. Where we can't take that bathroom out because we need that bathroom. We should have tore the bathroom out
Should have.
because we moved the grandstand so many feet
Because of the bathroom.
because of the bathroom.
that you
And then-
tore down 3 years later.
Yeah, we
anyways?
did anyway. But we have the longest run on the wagons. Our home stretch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's quite exciting because
It's so long.
It's so long.
Oh.
And so it's a game changer for the wagon guys.
Oh, wow.
They got a lot of room to.
How wide's the track?
Oh, it's 4 wagons, so it's.
Yeah.
It's.
It's
I would
gotta
say
be
the
100 and
track
some
would.
feet?
What is it? There a standard length?
The width is probably the same, on most of them.
Yeah.
Similar? Okay.
Yeah,
The only thing is it's coming out of the arena. I think one time you had to change that corner.
Yeah, we had a poster that they were kind of rubbing into once.
Yeah.
Oh, it got too
Yeah.
close. You had to change it up.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
coming off
Jeez.
and out onto the rail.
Yeah. And now we've put. We've added. What we got? How many chutes we got now? 12.
14, right?
14 chutes.
You got 8 and
So we just
6.
put our new chutes in last year.
Which side has 8?
Right-hand delivery. Yeah.
Has that always been that way?
No, it was 6 and 6.
Oh, it was. So we got more on the rights now.
Yeah. And we can drop out of the front end of them now.
Yeah.
Which is big instead of backing them out.
Yeah.
If we got something going
Yeah.
on. So it helps speed up the rodeo, and it's
Oh, yeah.
when we can load more.
But it was a brand new set of shoots this last year. So you guys didn't just up the prize money, but there was more prize money and a new set of bucket shoots.
Yes.
A whole new
And-
load up alley, like
And we did the big new beer gardens, the dance hall.
yeah. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
But so what other things though? Like there's not many other places that have 14 buck and shoots. The different sets of suites. So it was the big grandstand, then it was the buck and shoot suites and grandstand. Then it was the suites on the south east corner, and you kind of built a couple every year and continued to build that out. Then it was the Wild West suites is the latest addition. But then you have the dance hall that we just talked about.
Yeah.
The biggest screen in rodeo in Canada. The the rooftop bar in the Wild West Suites,
that's
Duane.
that's another thing we got to talk
Yeah.
about. That rooftop bar it's got a 360-degree view of the town and
the racetrack for wagon
a
fans.
lot of big events held up there. It holds 300 or 400 people. So there's a couple of big companies that just take it for their customers for the day, and it's amazing. We're probably thinking about putting some kind of a screen on it or close it in for use it more for receptions and weddings and and stuff throughout the year, because we do, our stagecoach is booked solid all year round for weddings and lots of activities. And then this our new dance hall, it's called let me think, what do we call the new dance hall? Oh, it's called
Something about a
Showdown.
dance hall.
The Showdown.
The Showdown Dance Hall.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, Showdown Dance Hall, and that's going to be another place to host events. So it continues on and on and on. And we're not done. We got more land we bought now, so now we're going to put more camping and parking, and it just goes on and on. So
Any more buildings going up? What's the next plan?
I think
For a while?
we're probably looking at putting up some more room for the midway, and maybe building some more. That old washroom out front that we still have is probably time for it to go. And but you never can get enough washrooms when you get that many people. You got to realize.
Yeah, 12,000 people. Then you got to have people to clean everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
You know, it's all, we spend a ton of money on our waste disposal but everything's clean. If you come to that rodeo grounds a week after, you won't find a paper anywhere. We have crews that come pick it
so
up.
clean every day. I don't know if I've ever seen trash on there at all.
Yeah.
Even behind the buck and shoots, like it's immaculate.
No, when we hire a crew, and that's what they do. They clean the suites, the grandstand, and there's no papers, and you won't see a can or nothing around. But there's garbage. There's garbage cans everywhere.
Just
everywhere.
like Disney World.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that works. But Frank Mickey's been our main foreman out back there, and he's 96 years old, and he still runs ship back there.
Yeah.
And he's got two guys with him all year round that are full maintenance. There's
Looking after
like
things.
you go to a lot of some rodeo grounds. You look at them. We cut the weeds, and we have it's mowed like a lawn.
Yeah, but sometimes rodeos are trying to get that done like the week of, because they only do it once a year, and it's all a volunteer crew, and the committee's already everybody's busy, and like you got to have these people in place to do stuff year round if you're gonna have an event of this caliber.
We've got two girls in the office. We've got Leslie and
Brooke, right?
Brooke right now, so that's been great. It's just they're there all week, all year,
all the time.
Yeah, because there's bills to pay, and it's it's an ongoing
time.
operation with the rent of the new buildings. And I think once we get the closed in up in the rooftop there, we're probably going to have that event center open more. And
handy.
We've got the high school rodeo that comes in, and
then events every week in the Ag Center in the Calnash.
Calnash is all week.
Always booked.
Yeah. With that said, what are you guys doing south of the Calnash Center? What's the plans there?
That's where we're going to put more camping and parking.
More camping.
But straight south is going to be an outdoor arena.
Oh, an outdoor arena.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we need another one.
Yeah.
Another warm-up pen. We try not to get our arena too much. Like we got the high school rodeo, and the local clubs can go there, but we like to keep our arena in the Baying Arena. Because the ground is very
fickle.
People don't understand. There's two types of ground we have to run. We got the rodeo side
and the chuck wagon side,
and we bring
and they're
the ground
totally different.
Up and down for each event, and you can't just let anybody else run a tractor in there, and we got to be part of that when we do that. But they need another outdoor arena, and right by the Ag Event Center, which is going to be good. They can, have some barrel racings, and then they can have whatever. Probably have some shoots in there. I think probably. I don't know what the board is.
You already sold your old ones though.
Yeah, we sold them. They actually brought more than I think we paid for them.
Well, but there's inflation over 30 years of bucket shoots, right?
But there's a lot of history, a lot of champions come out of them shoots.
Well,
some guys just wanted to own them.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. So talking about that, one story I wanted to for sure get to was Dan Mortensen and the crew coming from Greeley, or what was it? You guys had to get a plane. Because I was talking with Terry, I saw Terry Jones the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, we had to get that plane the one time, and and get those guys up there. But there's got to be so many stories. But let's start with that one.
Well, it goes. Dan was traveling at that time with. I sponsored the Hay Boys, Roddy and Danny, and
That's right. The VJV was on the shaft for years.
I give them my airplane to run around.
Yeah.
Which wasn't
Holy
cheap,
smokes.
but it was fun, and they wore the VJV, my company's logo. But anyway, to get back to our circle, we overlapped Greeley and Dan.
And it's Cowboy Christmas for those that don't know, so it's
and
kind of a busy time of year.
So there was, I think Roddy and Denny and Dan were trying to get back, and they phoned and they said, we can't, somebody's got to get us a plane. So I talked to Gary Harbin and a few in the board, and I said, what do you think? And he said, well, I can get a Lear jet that'll bring them back.
Okay, and I don't know what a Learjet technically is. Like,
Well,
it's
that's it. It's like a 6-passenger jet that goes as fast as the big boys.
Oh no shit! Like 500 or 600 miles an hour. Holy
And
smokes.
back at that time, it was about, I think, to get the jet one way was $12,000.
12 grand.
Yeah, but then we got some guys on the board who all chipped in from our businesses and flew them back in. I organized everything on it. And Dan come in. He was in 10th hole.
Yeah,
coming
last
into
place.
the finals. So when the smoke all cleared, he'd won. He come out and he won the buckle, won the short go.
Yeah.
And he come up and he said, I've never had somebody treat me like that, like a board and that organized. He says, I just didn't think we were going to make it. And coming in 10th hole, I just thought I'm not going to make it. And when I got him in there, he come after he won the buckle, he give it to me. He says, this is for you. And I said, I can't take it. He says, no, I want you to have that. And he wrote a nice card on it, and I got it in my bar.
Yeah, at the house.
It was, it's just the way we kind of roll there. That's the way we do.
Yeah.
And then, and after that, the Hay Boys took over the plane. Dan was part of it, and Glenn O'Neill, and Luke Butterfield was on there. And it was kind of whoever wanted to be on that plane was.
Make it work.
Well, Roddy was the organizer. He had his traveling group.
So they got to fly around everywhere and you're playing all the time?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, they went all over North America.
Who's the pilot?
I went through quite a few of them.
Oh.
I've had lots of good pilots, but no, I think Roddy could fly that plane. He was always in the front. He liked that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
And and I told one time, and there's a good story too, is Roddy phones, he says, we're heading in, somebody come pick us at the airport. I said, yeah, we'll just buzz the rodeo grounds.
Yeah,
And we'll get
go by
somebody-
and say hello.
Yeah.
We'll know when you're there when you fly
so
over.
Roddy says, we had a kind of a crop display and pilot at that time. He's kind of a stunt guy.
Yeah.
He says, how low can you guys want to go? And Roddy says, let's split the grandstands.
Oh, boy.
And they come over, and they were, and all of a sudden my phone rings, and what's that? And whose plane was that? And I said, I don't know. But I went out and picked them up. Yeah. And then the next week
How
later,
low are we talking? Like, did they actually split the grandstand? They didn't actually do that.
It scared the heck
You thought they were crashing into everybody?
Yeah,
Well,
Oh, gosh.
I think the Grand Entry girls are ducking and diving.
yeah, no kidding.
Oh
I
my
jumped
gosh.
out of my boots. I didn't know where it come from.
I mean, it doesn't take much to scare you anyways.
no,
But
but,
then
I know it
next
doesn't,
week
but-
I get a call from the
From the
Department of
government?
Transport.
Oh, DOT. Uh-oh.
Yeah, DOT phones me, and
Yeah, your plane were registered a little bit low
I had
altitude.
to, and I was thought, oh boy, I'm going to this is going to be the end of it. And I said, it's been a tradition. If you want to get picked up at the airport, you buzz the grandstand or buzz the rodeo grounds. That was always the way we did it.
Before telephone, so it's a tradition.
We just had that happen, and I had to explain it to him, and kind of finally went away. Then I said after the pilot, I said, what did you do? And he says, well, Roddy told me to do it. And I said, what did Denny say? Denny was shitting his pants in the back. He's Denny didn't like flying.
Oh, man.
No, Denny didn't like flying. I think Dustin Flunder was on that plane too that time. He said,
really?
Yeah, they've had lots of stories of that plane. I could tell you lots more.
Holy smokes.
And then I give him a truck once through the Hay Boys.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. And Denny, I get a call once. This is another good story. I get a call once, and they got this new Ford truck. I get a call from
Company truck.
yeah, VJV, and the Hay Boys on it, and it's going to call out of Colorado, and it's Denny on the phone. I said, "What's wrong, Denny?"
From Denny's number or from an undescript number that he's stuck somewhere? No?
It's his number. He says, had a little accident with the truck. I said, what happened? He says, we kind of tipped it over. And I said, tipped it over? He said, yeah. And I said, well, everybody okay? And he said, oh, yeah. No, we just tipped it back. The police are here, and they got to verify that you own this truck. And I said, okay. And he says, I said, you guys been drinking? And he said, no, we did. We got rid of all that. But they had been a little sipping. So anyway, the state trooper gets on. He says, you Mr. Vold? And I said, yes. Is this your truck? Yes. He says, these two boys in this truck, they're sponsored by you? And I said, yeah, they are. And he says, do you happen to know, he says, are you in any relation to Harry Vold? And I said, yeah, it's my uncle. He says, he's a very fine gentleman. He said, I'm going to let these boys off the hook. They're going to go. So I said, good, thank you. And
Holy.
That was the end of that. But then the next couple hundred miles, they hit a deer. And then they tipped it over again somewhere in the east. And then finally they're bringing it home, and they come across the line. And
it's pretty
Roddy phones me, and he says, we hit a deer. I said, coming home. I said, how bad is it? Well, he says, it doesn't look bad, Blair. I said, well, drop the truck at the market, and I'll get it fixed. So I come in the morning, here's the truck, dented all over, the front end blown, the side window tape on it, duct tape with plastic.
Oh, no.
So it didn't look bad, though.
Oh, jeez.
Nansen got the truck after the end. They just wore it out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And this was like 3 months in, or?
Yeah.
It wasn't that long.
Yeah, it wasn't long. But then I switched them to the airplane.
Yeah.
They even had fights in the airplane.
Cheaper?
There was little holes in the airplane. I said, what happened here? And well, he said, we got in a fight up there in the air.
In the air?
Somebody tried to hit somebody and hit their head and busted up.
Put a hole in the plane?
On the plastic inside.
Oh, my God.
But anyway.
Jeez. And you kept sponsoring these Yahoos?
Oh, they're good friends of mine. They actually, like Danny worked for me at the market in between. He didn't have nowhere to go, and he stayed at our house for quite a while, and he worked the ring. And after about a month in the fall, he says, how does a guy get paid around here? And I said, what do you mean? Don't you put your time card in? He said, I've never had a job.
Really?
So I had to go in and get him, told him how to put his card in.
Oh, no way. Never had a job before in his life. Unbelievable.
And Roddy, he kept winning them big checks of them $50,000, and he'd just buy another quarter of land, and he had a cat, and he'd clear it. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and he built up he's got a good sized cow herd right now, and
Up in Wildwood?
yep, he's got a nice
really?
place. Yeah. Roddy was kind of if Roddy wasn't around, Denny wouldn't be at rodeos because Roddy booked him. He entered them everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they were quite the pair of them two when they traveled together.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And they fought, well, they're brothers, so obviously they would fight.
Oh yeah,
That's just usual. Donnie knows that.
I flew over with him to Regina once, and I got some cattle buddies over there that.
Was this Agribition?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
so
fall rodeo.
Yeah, I took.
Yeah.
And Wayne had the rodeo anyway, so they do two horses, Wayne's that were boom boom. You know, we're betting on we're having a big bet in the suites with
A little Calcutta, some might say.
Yeah, not a little one. This was a big one. Like the winner would get $5,000. So you had to pick two. So I picked Denny to win and Roddy second. That's exactly what happened.
Oh, really?
So
dang.
I think back then they won $1,500 or whatever to win it.
You won 5,000.
I won five. So I get in the plane and I showed him this, and holy shit, you win more than
us in the rodeo.
But I think I split it with them and give me some money after.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, we had so many memories of them boys, and they now look what they got coming up as a generation. So, but it's been a good ride with them.
So going back to the Ponoka Stampede side of things, there's got to be some other stories. Like maybe we should go down the line here. Talk with Donnie. What's your fondest memory of the Ponoka Stampede? I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I never thought about this, but I'm wondering what has been one of the most memorable parts for you over the years.
Well,
Could be a couple things.
The big thing, at Ponoka is I look so forward to that showdown. It's the best rough stock, the whole rodeo is. But boy, when you get all those good four guys and the best horses, You know, like over the years, I've seen such great bareback rides and saddle bronc rides.
Jake on the big black.
Yeah.
Calgary's. Hey, Jake, old hometown guy.
Yeah.
And the bronc riders.
Yeah. No, that's got to be the
highlight for
the highlight for me for Ponoka is those final 4 guys getting on those broncs and bulls and bears. And there's been some, like even Oren Larson this year in that ride. He made one heck of a ride. Like it was great. And so that's probably
that's it for you.
Highlight. Well, and then actually when Bobby Pugh was cracking gates, it was always good watching him.
Oh yeah.
That one year there, that horse stalled in the chute, and Bobby comes up and he slaps that horse in the butt.
Oh no! Did it kick him in the chest or something?
Kicked him in the head, knocked him out cold.
Oh no
he
way!
Just laid there.
Oh no!
And then one other time, another horse kicked him. Like there's a guy with 9 lives. So
I had to
watching him.
I had to retire him when he got 65. I said, Bobby, I put him as a judge in the women's bronc ride.
Yeah.
And that's where he sits behind the chutes now. And
a little safer.
He's a safer bet. But
oh man,
that's great.
Duane, what about yourself?
Well, I just like to see a well-oiled machine, and that's exactly what Ponoka Stampede is. I mean, right from the best volunteers to their board of directors, everything just runs smooth there. And you get the long score. It's just a real good experience for everybody. And as far as what happens at the party after at the parties, I can't tell you about it today. There's too many.
Well, I feel like I met you, Duane. I don't know if I'm remembering right or not. It was probably either at your house when I was in the junior bull riding side of things, or it might have been at the Jamboree one of the first years when I was there in the junior bull riding side of things. But I always remember having a good time around Duane, whether it's at Ponoka or at his house or at the Jamboree. We're always staying up a little too late usually, and having a lot of fun. Anytime we're hanging with Duane, it's always a lot of fun.
It was so much fun watching the generations come up through the bull riders and knowing who's going to be the next one and stuff like that. And the people at the Big Valley Jamboree, they treated us great. And the Camrose Regional Exhibition, it was awesome. The one we had at the house, I just loved it. But we had so much fun, but it outgrew us. And Vicky's really happy there isn't sawdust in her house anymore because all the guys would come up to our house and play and it'd be a party.
Like I remember seeing one time. Actually, he's the rodeo administrator of the CPRA now, I think. Tanner Gerlitz. One day we were all riding there, and I think I wasn't even old enough, but I remember going back there in the morning to get a car, and Tanner was on a quad, and he hadn't gone to bed yet. He crashed this quad into a tree, and he was backing it up, and he was having a pretty large time.
He took the side-by-side and sunk it. So then he went out and got up into my garage, and I had an old 74 VW Beetle.
Oh,
so he thought maybe he could pull it out with that, so he's running it down there. This all happened at night. I didn't see none of it.
No.
So, but yeah, that's the stuff that happened.
A lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Going back to Ponoka, though, Blair, you were on a roll there with a few stories. I want to keep on going on there because there could be like no end to these different pieces. Or like even Donnie, like what about a couple memorable rides? Like just what stands out to you that way? Or Duane, like if you got some in your head on some of your guys' bulls, like that one that Lonnie made, not this year but last year. Like that was one of the best bull rides I've seen live ever. Like there's just so much cool stuff that can happen when you match those guys up with the top stock in a place with huge money. Like it's stuff that you don't get to like it's a format mixed with the atmosphere, mixed with like so many, like the stars are aligning, but you guys are creating this thing in Ponoka.
Well, it's, and a big shout out to my father-in-law, Ralph Vold, because he had these Burton cows that he bought off Fred Burton way back when, and he was such an essential part of making the bull lines better in Canada. That was years ago, but the boys, the new stock contractors, they've got blood coming from everywhere, and the bulls are exceptional. Bull riders are getting better, and that's the way the sport's supposed to go.
It's true.
So and now we can compete at a world level with just about anybody. Mm-hmm. Them Brazilians are tough though.
Donnie? Well, I'm thinking like on some of the best rides or some of the other fun stories, like starting the camp. Like that's one of the most fun parts of Ponoka for us too, is getting to camp with you and hang out in that area too, right?
The crew that all comes up and helps
there's
with
such
me.
a community there.
Yeah, the atmosphere that's what it is.
Right?
The Ponoka Stampede's got an atmosphere that's top, and everybody, like even the people that are helping her, it's all exciting. For me, over the years, I used to jump in the chutes with a lot of those kids in the steer
That's
riding.
how I started.
Yeah, and
That's
so
how I met you, to go to your school after
and
the
so
fact.
I
That's
got
right.
to watch them through the steer riding and coming right up, and then there they are, like Logan and Dawson.
Yeah.
They were riding steers at Ponoka Stampede.
That's true, yeah.
And then there they are making these unbelievable bronc rides and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the people and everything. It goes
You
back
brought
to
a lot of a lot of cowboys come through your school.
yeah. Well, there's
A
a
lot of cowboys
Yeah.
have come to the ranks of the Johansen school, and you still run it today.
Yeah, I still go out and help Scott Schiffner and Jesse Torklinson on it, and they have the school at Rimby. But no, Ponoka, it's like I say, we all need them. They're very important to the rest of the rodeos in Canada.
True, yeah.
And the CPRA. That's the best thing about Ponoka, is keeping the sport alive.
Yeah, it's a cowboys rodeo, and like to keep it
Run
that
by
way.
the Cowboys.
It's run by a bunch of good businessmen. A lot of them were cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joe Dodds was on the board, and the Dodds family was a big part of town. John Dodds was one of my heroes. He was one of the nicest guys, and he worked for me too for a little bit. But God, I thought he was one of the best bull riders I'd seen out of our town or our country.
Yeah, for sure. He was my idol when I was rodeoing. I got to rodeo with John and stuff. But yeah, he was a heck of a bull rider. Yeah. And I remember Jerome Robinson saying, that he could have been the world champion a couple of times.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
John.
Yeah, and he was easy going, and he'd travel, but he didn't go hard. Donnie Gay would enter 170 rodeos.
Yeah.
And
John would go to 50 maybe.
80 or something.
But you look at out of the CFR, how many contestants come out of Ponoka, and lots of them making their homes there now.
Yeah, probably more than anywhere.
Yeah, we have a send off when we give them all a quote, and Ponoka Stampede does that's at the Hall of Fame for CFR, and a lot of it's just a testament of what we try to keep the sport back and grow up with these young kids coming up, and there's some pretty good talent out there right now, as you see when you even see the NFR now. What kind of talent we got coming out of Canada? We're right there.
How many of the kids at the NFR this year went to your schools, Donnie? If you got, I'm just assuming probably Jared, probably Jordan.
Jared and Jordan.
I know Jordan was there 1 year I was, I think.
Orrin Larson went to our bull riding school 3 years.
Yeah.
And
rode bulls pretty good.
Yeah.
So did his brother Tyrell, who also made it.
they were both bull riding.
Yeah.
And
Kane, too.
Kane was good, too.
Yeah. What about even some of the ropers end up going to your school, too, at times? I don't know if Bueller would ever went to one, but...
No, I don't. Bueller didn't.
Didn't.
But, there's Logan and Dawson.
They both went to schools?
Went to our
Probably
ride school
Zeke,
twice.
too?
Yeah.
Would Zeke have gone to one?
Zeke never did get
Never
to our
came to the
school.
school?
But Ben Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And Colby Wanchuk and
Yeah.
all them guys,
Ashbacker would have been there for sure.
No, Ashbacker didn't come
Oh,
to our
really?
school.
I guess
no.
they got their own stock, but
Yeah.
still.
But
Wow.
it's fun to watch them grow up, for sure.
Blair, I want to ask you again. So on the show, one of the questions is always asking our guests what their definition of cowboy shit is. So I want to ask you what that is too, but I want to ask you what the Ponoka Stampede means to you, though. What is it? What place does it have for you?
Oh, it's been a big part of my life, for that many years, and just to grow up in not only with the Stampede board, but as part of our Vold history as rodeo. And my son taking over, and being so successful on that side just makes me proud, And I had a great relationship with my Uncle Harry, and Wayne and I are, we're very close. But it's just been a real sport to be involved in, and we're watching the Western lifestyle continue on and showcase that to the people in the world, and hope we can continue. As you know, some rodeos can't operate in certain areas now, and it disappoints me that they shut these places down over something where it's such a well-regulated sport and animals are well looked after, and it's a lot of family values there and ranching history with all these families. So I just like to be part of that, and It's just been an honor to be on that board. You know, to be on a Ponoka Stampede president, been more of an honor to me too. So.
And what's the why on the as a board member, you're a volunteer too. So what's the why behind it? How did you get going on it? Like, I know I've kind of asked this already, but
my dad,
was your dad, yeah.
Yeah, my dad was. And
so you're kind of forced into it.
We had work parties. The old boys went and drank beer, and the kids went and
you
did
guys
the
had
work.
to do the actual work.
That was the work part. Or my dad said, "You're gonna come put barrels or set up barrels for the wagons," and
Yeah.
you had to go pick rocks when you had to pick rocks, and they. Shorty and him and some of them guys go drink beer and watch us pick rocks.
Supervising.
Terry Jones, that's one
Yeah.
of them too.
Oh man. And so what's the future look like as far as, I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit too, but next generation board members are already there with I guess Trevor would be a third generation.
Yeah.
And his kids are pretty young still, but
Yeah.
but you've got, it's Reed Butterfield. He'd be similar
No,
age
it's Cole.
to Cole.
Cole, yeah. He's Blake's son.
Yeah.
So that's
And he's
third.
running the time event side, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and Blake's still on the board. And Greg was on the board for all Butterfield. And like I said, Nansen's probably going to be on the board
Some point too.
some point too.
That'd be
so
third generation there too. Fourth.
Yeah.
Oh, fourth. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
We need to put an appendix on this show with the family tree.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to get some explanation on how everybody fits together. And Brenda tried to tell me one time like how it all worked, but I there's a lot there.
Well, my dad had 4 brothers.
Yeah.
was
So it's
Norman, Clifford, Harry, and Ralph. My dad was the youngest brother.
Okay.
And they've all passed away.
yeah.
When Clifford was a cowboy. He rode broncs in Ponoka.
Yeah.
Harry, as you know, was a stock contractor in Canada, and
Then moved to the US.
I moved to the U.S. and his son is Wayne.
Yeah.
And we can't not talk about our famous cousin Doug Vold.
Doug, yeah, world record holder. 95 points on transport in
Meadow Lake,
Saskatchewan.
1979.
God, you got
Right?
it right on. And then my other cousins, I got were stock contractors in the States and on Harry's side, and of course, we got Jake. He's Vold, won the
And-
Canadian 3 times. He's
So
a
is that
second cousin. He was. How does Wayne put it? They always say, "How's Jake Vold related to you, Wayne?" Wayne says, "When I first saw him, I told him he's some third, fourth cousin." And he says, "When he started winning, he said he's become my cousin, and now he's my son."
He's my son.
Wayne, he said. And then we got now.
So, but Jake's grandpa is Cliff, is that right?
No, Jake's grandpa is Bill. Bill, he just passed away. He lived to almost 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
No,
got
Clifford is Brenda's dad. Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, and now we got Nansen coming up, and he's got Jaden,
Yep.
and it looks like
He's big bull guy now too.
Yeah, Apple's not going to fire too far from the tree there. That kid's knows
into
which
it.
delivery and which bulls go where, and I just phone him anymore to find out.
He's got all the info.
Yeah, he's got everything. He's only 13, but he's actually like he's 23.
Well, and Nansen just sold a couple bulls. They just sold a
Yeah.
couple bulls over in Vegas this last week too.
Yeah,
eh?
we went and watched it. Actually, he got what he thought. There were just a couple bulls that were little. He's got
Some solid ones.
Yeah,
Wasn't Blue Magic, was it?
No.
No.
It
That
was
one's
one
worth
that
a lot.
yeah.
That one's staying in the pen, yeah.
Yeah. No. The
Which one did they sell then? I don't know.
What's that?
Which ones did they sell? Did you guys sell then?
I seen the names, but he says like Jennifer said, we had too many bulls.
Oh yeah.
You got another.
You need a lot of bulls.
135. Well, he can
he's
run
got a lot of
3.
events.
He can run 3 outfits.
At one time, yeah.
Yeah.
And because they bought up the Curtis too, like the outlaw side of the bull
they
side.
own the outlaw Bucker's side.
On the bull side too,
Yeah,
right?
so
yeah.
that's-
And a lot of the horses, like they're kind of getting in the horse business a little bit more
we're just
too now. Right?
Nansen's just starting this, and he's got Elvira. That's him and Nansen and Doug's horse, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But
So-
I think Dustin Thompson named that horse, or maybe where did that come from? Dustin's got something funny about some
You'd
horse
have to
names.
ask
He's
that
got
story.
something.
I don't get quite a bit of the stories. Of
Oh, no?
really what goes
How
on.
many bulls have you named, or horses over the years?
No,
No?
I've had a couple.
Who's the name guy? Is that you, Duane? Are you a name guy?
No, I'm not.
At the start, I was.
At the
At the
start
start,
you
I
were?
was, but
No.
I remember in the middle, Nansen would keep
I think
coming up with
Jaden names all the bulls.
Yeah, Jaden probably does now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he came to me with this bull name. He says, I said, what's this bull? Bohica. I go, Bohica? Why the heck would you call something Bohica? He says, well, it's bend over. Here it comes again.
Well, but then there was who had Dillygaff? Who did that one come from? Was that a Sawyer
sure.
bull?
It probably is. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but then you guys had Fig Jam.
Fig Jam.
Fig
Right?
was a
You gotta
gotta
tell
have
everybody
Jaden
about
bull.
Fig Jam.
And what is it?
Same thing.
They named
I said,
this
how
one
come you
bull
named it?
Banff or whatever.
Well, Fig Jam was, frick, I'm good. Just ask me.
Oh, you got some crazy names.
What else do we gotta cover here? Do you want to talk in the cattle side of things a little bit too? Like I don't know that world very well, so I didn't venture into it too much.
I've been retired now for coming up 10 years.
Yeah.
And the reason we sold the market is, number one, I'd been there quite a while.
Yep.
And Nansen thought he'd like to pursue the rodeo side. So
Yeah.
and
So that you went on to the IC.
yeah, so I sold it to a very good family, the Thalen family, Henry Thalen, and they run it right now, and I'm still part of it. I'm still there active, and we just sold our cow herd out, Dad's cow herd here last week before we come down.
Yep.
And that was 35 years of history there at Big Valley. We had
Holy.
a 500 head cow herd there, and just had a very successful sale, and that was the end of a era there too, and so it's cattle has been on my other side of my life all the time, and it's great to see the cattle market the way it is now. I've never seen it so high, and I wish my dad was here to see these prices that we're getting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is unbelievable.
And fits really well on the rodeo side of things. They both go together super hand in hand.
Well, you have to help these guys along once in a while. So
Yeah.
they don't just start.
Got to give them trucks and fly them on planes and stuff,
the things like
Help
that.
'em
But
out.
it's good to be part of it. Yeah, it does. And Nansen's got quite a herd building up there now.
Yeah.
He's at Dad's place. We got the feedlot we used to feed the calves. Now he's taken that over, and he's got his little bulls and his yearlings and his old retired bulls that are used for breeding, and it's kind of neat to see. And he's got his horses out back, so I like seeing that.
The whole progression.
Yeah, it just fits for our whole group, our whole family operation.
Start of another era.
The next generation.
Yeah.
Should have asked you earlier, Blair, but there's a story, and if you look up Blair Vold, then the first headline says Blair Vold kidnapped, and it was quite a few years ago now. It's probably 2008 or 9 or 11 or when was it?
I think it was 2011 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was quite a part of my growing up or my life.
Well, but is it still getting kidnapped when you're an adult though, or is it getting adult? Like, is it adult napped? It's a little bit different, right?
Well, it was I don't know.
What is it?
Grandpa nap.
You got
Grandpa.
Grandpa nap.
Yeah. No, I live in, where I live, Ted. I'm on a dead end road, and I have cattle buyers staying with me all the time, and auctioneers
and rodeo cowboys
and cowboys
delinquents
and,
of all sorts, right?
Oh yeah, get some famous ones too. But yeah, and it was after our sales are on Wednesday, and I'm Thursday morning. I head out of one of the cattle buyers leaves first, and he phones me back and says, "There's a tree across your road with a wire." And I said, "What the hell?"
With a wire.
Wire across, barbed wire stretched across your road past the corner here. I said, "Oh shit! Horses must have got out, or the cattle got out." And so I was the next to go, so I headed out, and here's a tree across the road, and the wire's still across. I thought, just didn't take this down.
And how did the other guy get out?
He cleaned it up.
Oh, he cleaned it up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then he put it back. This the kidnapper.
Oh,
So when I get out of my truck to pull the log off and the wire back, this guy comes out of the bush with a mask on and coveralls and a gun, and he says, "Get on the ground. Don't look around." And he said, "Don't look around." I was trying to look around. I said, "I'm getting on the ground." He said, then he puts a hood over my head right away, which I thought, "Oh, look, this ain't good." And then he takes my hands and ties them behind my back with a rope. And
you got a cell phone in your truck or something, but you can't take it with you.
I can't get it. So I had a Cadillac Escalade truck then. So he tied me up, and lifts me up, and I said, "What do you want money?" I said, "I got some money in my wallet, not much. I got a couple $100 or whatever."
Yeah.
And he said, "This ain't about that kind of money." I'm like, "Oh."
Uh-oh.
So we threw in the back of the truck, laying on the seat,
In the back seat.
back seat of my Cadillac, and he drove it just a few 100 feet up to the turn, and he pulled in to the bush and told me to get out, and moved me into his truck. He had it hid in the bush there.
On your driveway?
Yeah, just around the corner from my driveway. So then he gets on his phone and he's pretending to talk to somebody. And I couldn't, you usually can hear somebody in the background on the phone, but I thought it's kind of funny because he said, "I got him. We got him." And he said, yeah, I got him. And then he would hang up, and then he took off, and he said to me, "You're Blair Vold." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "What's it about?" He says, I want some money. You're gonna have to phone and get me some money." And I said, "What do you need?" He said, "I want 300,000. I said, "You can't get 300,000." I said, you know. He says, "Yes, you can. You got money. I know." I said, "Well, I know I do get 300,000, but I can't get it in cash." So he says, "Will you phone your secretary and tell her you're buying some land or make up some story, and tell her to get some cash ready." And then he starts driving, and you're in the back seat and your senses kick in. I knew of that country. I knew he turns left down the next road and he turns back on the highway.
Heading north?
He headed south, and then he turned right and went past Wolf Creek, and I took the police the next day right to the spot where he stopped, and in the bush way about 5 miles west of Wolf Creek, and because I couldn't see nothing, so
But you can remember where you are.
I knew where I was at. I just knew he turned left and right, and anyway, he gets off, and I get on the phone and phone my secretary, and I said, I'm buying some land. I need some cash. She says, "How much?" And I says, "Well, how much can we get?" Well, she said, "How much do you need?" And I said, "Well, how much can we get?" She said, "I'll phone the banks and phone you back." So she phones me back in about 20 minutes. She says, "We got 3 bank accounts, 3 different banks, but banks don't carry that much cash anymore, Blair." He says, "They only had 5,000 in each bank." I said, "Well, better get it." I said, she said, "Okay." So she goes down, gets the 3 banks.
15 grand, yeah.
15 grand. She gets it and phones me back. She said, "I got the money." And she says, I said, "Okay." She said, first of all, she said, "I can't go till 10 o'clock. The bank's open." But she said, "I'll get it and be back." And in the meantime, this guy, kidnapper, says, "Well, how much you got limit on your credit cards?" And at that time, I had like $100,000 limit and 2 cards. So he takes off and he says, "We're going to go get some money out of your credit cards." So then he takes me to, I knew exactly where we went again. He turns right again on the highway, and he takes me to Lacombe, to the bank there, and I give him my credit cards, and he give him my PIN numbers, but I give him kind of the wrong PIN numbers. But in the meantime, I'm kind of wiggling out. He had tied me with a rope, so I kind of loosened it up, and finally I got loose. And he went inside, and he said, "There's a truck pulled right up," and he says, "These guys are coming to watch you." And this truck pulls right up beside me. And I thought, "Oh boy!" So I finally got loose, and I thought I better not move. He said, "If you move," he said, "we're going to shoot you." So this truck pulls up, and all of a sudden I hear this wife say, "Okay, honey, let's go." And it was just a
couple.
So he backs up. I get this, took my hood off, and I looked around, and I said, "I'm
exactly where I thought it was."
Yeah, I looked around, and I said, I know where I'm at. So he had the doors locked and child locked in the back, but he forgot to lock the one side.
Oh.
So I opened it, and I come out, and just as I'm coming out, he's coming out of the bank, and I don't know what I went from scared shitless to, "I'm going to kill you, you son of a bitch." So I run at him, and he pulls the gun out of his and points it at me, and I turned around and adios and hit the gas station. I pull in there, and
so where was this?
This is Lacombe.
In Lacombe, and right downtown?
No, right on the main Highway 2A,
Oh,
in
yeah.
just when you get in. So I run across to the gas station. I run in there, and there's this.
The person running the tail there.
Yeah, the tail. He says, I said, I need to call the police. I've just been kidnapped. And the guy says, I can't allow you to use the phone, sir. And and this lady beside me, she said, you let him use the phone, my phone. And the police were right there. And this guy had taken off by then. And he tried to use the card again and was tasked when he went up there. Didn't get the money.
Because you gave him a bad pin.
Yeah.
You didn't get nothing out of it.
Nothing.
But you knew who it was as soon as that.
I didn't know who it was. So then the police, they come and they think this is a hit on the family. So all the family has to evacuate. Cheryl had to get out of the house. We moved into Rick Orsba's house in Janes in town it was a week. And everybody was watched. All the family was until this guy, they had him on the news. And after a week, he finally turned himself in. His wife, they showed this picture and somebody reported it and said, I know that guy. And so they went to this guy's wife and he can't be him. He's up north working right now. And he never was working, never did have a job. He was living in the bush in Rocky.
Oh, really?
He just thought he can get some easy money. He'd followed me for about 3-4 days ahead.
Holy smokes.
But he finally turned himself in and then he went to court and the judge he got 10 years.
Oh, really?
For kidnapping.
For kidnapping.
He was out in 3.
Out in 3.
Yeah.
Gotta love our Canadian legal system, eh?
But that was just a little part of my life.
Holy smokes. And spooky. Yeah, really spooky.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that like that kind of stuff doesn't happen a whole lot. Like anywhere for that matter, let alone like in Lacombe and Ponoka, Alberta.
No, that's like I say with Storm. Keep that stuff with you.
Yeah, keep the mace around.
Yeah.
Totally. You don't think it's going to happen on your land though? When you're leaving your house in the morning, and it's kind of wild. That there's another guy that leaves before you, and then this guy pulls his tree back out, and
and I never forgot. In the meantime, Cheryl keeps phoning me because I was supposed to
answer her though.
I couldn't, and so she was wondering, what the hell? He's supposed to phone me back and let me know what was going on because she knew the wire was, and the log was across. So
and
then she didn't find out till after what happened. So they brought me right back from the police station, and it was on the news before I even got back home.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how.
That same day?
I got to the Lacombe police station. The head guy there, he says, you better go out the back door. With the police are here to pick you up because the front door, the news crews are here already. I said, how do they find out? He said that you got them news crews on the police scanners all the time.
Oh, really?
Because when the police come to get me, they had the town surrounded.
Oh, really?
I knew it was a silver truck and it was a Chev and kind of what it would look like. And they had the news crew was right there, and then of course it went.
People knew about it, yeah.
Everybody knew about it all across Canada. So.
Yeah.
I think Duane was in Quebec then at the St. Tique.
Was that?
It was quite the phone call.
Yeah.
With Norm Swen from Lamley.
Oh, really?
We were going over to St. Tite and
we
were
were
checking
at the
out
airport?
Quebec City, and we're looking at it through, or not Quebec City, we were Montreal.
Yeah.
And we're going around looking at these statues and stuff. I said, Blair's been kidnapped? I go, that don't make sense.
Did you hear from him or from the news?
Vicky.
Oh, Vicky
called me. Yeah. And I thought, well, that's not just doesn't sound right. But
he was already free by this point.
Yeah.
You were already
about 2 hours. He held me.
Held you up for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! And you never did meet the secretary. He went right to the bank.
She went and got the money and was ready to deliver it. And then the police come to the market and told her, and she just go poor Diana.
Oh man!
So he didn't get $1.
He got what? He took my wallet and he got the money cash.
Got a couple $100.
A couple $100, yeah.
Yeah, but you got a pretty good story out of it.
Oh yeah, I got quite a bit of story.
Jeez, a story I don't want to be involved in.
Yeah, holy smokes.
Yeah,
I want him to write a book. There's more stories than just that one.
Yeah. And that was just the second most interesting thing to happen that year, probably. Because there's the cattle story. You told me we got to talk about this from the
Aleutian Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I run it with my auction market. I started this Canadian satellite where we sell cattle on the video and just kind of like what they do in the States, and they still do it presently now. So on the internet now, but we used to have it on the satellite. We had our own TV show. It was on the Lone Star channel. Anyway, I was approached by a fella in Cochrane and he'd bought the rights to the cattle on the Aleutian Islands that were left there from the Second World War.
Holy smokes!
They brought cattle up from Idaho to feed the troops because the Dutch Harbor at that time was a big port. And a lot of people didn't know that was the other. When Pearl Harbor was bombed, Dutch Harbor was bombed at the same time.
Where's Dutch Harbor?
In Alaska.
Alaska.
Off the coast. These Aleutian Islands go, if you look on the map, go way down off the Alaska, almost to Russia.
Really?
Yeah. So
smokes.
they had these cattle, and they'd just been interbred and grown on that island for years, and they had a caretaker. They used to have sheep, but it rained so much that sheep wouldn't survive. But they had all these cattle, and they bought the rights to these cattle. And there was, I think, 3,000 head there.
Holy smokes!
And they're all... So I flew up there and looked at the situation. They took
In
me out.
your plane or somebody else's plane?
No, I flew commercial, and then they chartered me into Dutch Harbor, and then they flew me to this other island where the cattle were. And it was interesting. Once I said we'll do the deal, I flew back again and got a camera crew, and we went up, and we landed on this island, and we got on the horses. They had horses there, and we rode up across this Bering Sea when the tide went out, and followed these cattle up, and it's interesting in nature. There was herds of bulls, yearlings of older bulls together, and then you'd see a cow with a some calf. They'd breed every other year because they wouldn't wean their calf, and then they catch another year. So, and then there's little calves, and it was quite a mixture of everything. So
really,
so they wanted to sell these cattle and ship them to
the mainland.
And the reason they couldn't ship them to the United States because of the Jones Act, they had to come to Canada. It's some law that way back, like the Hawaiian cattle can come to North America, but they got to come through Vancouver. They can't come, and then they can distribute them. And anyway, so I get this deal put together, and we put them on the satellite first, and we sell them, and I sold them in. The boat held about 1,500 head, so I had to go to the banker, and I said these guys didn't have the money. I said the boat wants $1 million up front
to ship them,
just to ship them.
Holy shit!
So the value of the cattle at that time was almost going to be double the number of head we're supposed to get. So they got the cattle kind of rounded up, and I flew back out there, and the one island we had was on Army base there, and Bob Hope had performed there. There was still was an old hangar with chairs still lined where he performed
during the Second World War.
Second World War, and
would there be some Cold War stuff there too?
Oh yeah, no, just the Second World War stuff. There's still the bunkers and not the bunkers, the places where all the soldiers stayed, and the docks were still there. That's where we're going to load the cattle on. So anyway, they get them rounded up, and the old dock was get the boat up to it, and they used the old ropes to make a fence along the docks, and they were chasing these cattle on the boat, and they get on the boat, and to get on the boat, and we had enough to fill the 1,500, but then they started getting wild, and when they started moving them, they started jumping into the sea, and we only got about I think we had 900 head loaded out of the 1,500.
Holy smokes!
So that's all we could get. So I thought, I think I'm in trouble here because I don't think I got enough money to cover all this.
Oh yeah, they're not even worth the shipping.
So anyway, I get them loaded, and I thought, I better phone Hartford Insurance and put some insurance on this in case the boat sinks. Then I'll really be in a wreck. So I phoned Kevin at Cornforth at Hartford, and I said, you want to do something historic? I've got a boatload of cattle coming, and oh yeah, interesting. How much a head? Do you want to charge me for insuring them, Kevin? Oh, let's do $5 a head or whatever. I said sure. So anyway, I get a boat report every time they're coming. The cattle, and then I learned another thing. That the old cattle started sulking, and they wouldn't eat or drink. And
and they're on there for quite a while.
Well, it's only a 4-day trip, but they had feed and water on the boat.
Yeah, but they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't eat. They didn't know what a feed was and what water was. So by the time they got to Vancouver, they'd thrown over about another 100 head.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, died. So
Shark food.
Joe Dodds and I end up going out there and with the liners, and they back
a
up.
lot of liners.
A lot of liners, and we had to back them up and sort them because I sold them in different groups to different buyers.
Holy crap.
We had to haul them to the Abbotsford auction market. And I remember we got all these liners lined up. The boat pulls in. We get ready to load, and then the whistle blows. And I thought, what the hell is this? And everybody starts walking away. The union, it's break.
Oh, shit.
Shift change.
Oh, no.
Shift change. So we had to wait another couple hours, and we got the back over. Finally, we got them loaded and sorted, and away they went. But I ended up buying one set of young bulls because I thought they were wild, and boy, they'll buck.
Yeah.
So I bought them. We bucked them. We got one that bucked.
Yeah.
And Wayne took it once and bucked him on cameras. We called him an illusion.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Didn't
They were
pan
all
out.
inbred Herefords and Shorthorns, and it was just anyway. Then, long story short, the old cattle, they just died. They just Tony Sheretsky, he bought some. He's at feedlot just out of town. He bought some, and they had to dig holes in the feed pens, put water in it. They just look at it.
They wouldn't eat or drink.
Eat or drink. They just died.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and that was the saddest thing. I would never do it again, and I thought I was mad at myself for doing it, and I just thought it was cruel. But it was just them. You took them cattle away from their environment.
Yeah.
And they were just mad at you. And
Holy.
And the little calves, they're the only ones that survived. They
didn't know any different.
Didn't know any different. But anyway, the banker told me he says, and at the end of the day, I lost a little bit, but not
too
much.
bad. Could have been a lot worse.
A lot worse. But it was a good experience for me. But
Holy shit.
it was a big endeavor back then.
I guess that'd been one of the bigger deals at the time for it. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
that
know.
was a big deal.
It was a
Like we
big
were
deal.
selling lots of cattle. I had the biggest auction market in Canada at the time. We were selling 250,000 head through the ring and another 150 on the satellite. And
Holy shit.
so we were moving a lot of cattle. So it was a big move, but it was fun. It was fun filming them with a helicopter because we couldn't get to them. And
Holy
then
smokes.
them bulls would look up at you and shake their heads, and they're just. It was.
Did they have cowboys up there, or did you send guys up there
No,
to gather them?
they had cowboys. Yeah, they had horses. They hauled horses from Alberta up there.
Holy.
And,
to drive them, to move them around.
Yeah, and they
Holy smokes.
moved them around, but the horses wouldn't eat the grass. The cattle survived on the grass, and ate kelp in the winter off the shores.
Off the shores.
And it's kind of like a weed.
Holy smoke. Yeah, it's in the seaweed, essentially.
But the
right?
horses, they took up. They just about starved to death. They wouldn't eat their feed, and they had to
Holy
haul in
smokes.
hay. And it was.
Are there still any cattle there?
They didn't end up, I think, putting a packing plant up there, which is a smart thing. And
Yeah.
they got a government grant, and now they're feeding the natives. I called them, they're Eskimos and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was wild horses up there too. That were herds of them.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's quite a history. I enjoyed the walking around looking, all the old barracks. I took
That'd be wild.
some cattle. I took two cattle buyers with me and a film crew up to do it, and it was Cor Van Ray was one of the guys, Bill Ballhorn, but they were going to make a documentary on it, and they never did. And then they phoned the other day and wanted to know where the footage is. So Diane Finstead is looking into it and see if she can get me.
Oh, really?
She was part of RDTV.
Yeah.
Where she
Holy
worked at.
smokes.
So if I can get that footage and get that put together, it'd be a good story.
I thought there was a lot of good videos this year at the Ponoka Stampede. I thought Alicia did a really good job
Yeah.
talking to Terry in one of the videos. You were in a couple of them.
Yeah.
Nansen was in some of them. But is it Ferry Bank? Is that what the original area was? Is that what?
Original rodeo started Ferrybank out west of town.
West of town. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and,
closer by your place, Duane, or
Yeah.
where?
Yeah, it's running right on the river. There.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had the rodeo out there. Then they had one out at Water Glen, or just out by where Uncle Clifford lived.
Okay.
On the land right there. Uncle Harry, that's where he started his bucking horses out there.
And is that close by where the golf course was or is? Or
No. Then,
different
then
area?
Harry had that land around where Wolf Creek was.
Yeah.
That's where he kept his horses.
Okay, I see.
That's where Harry had when he had the Canadian operation.
Oh, I see. And when did Harry go south? Why did he go south? Is there more opportunity there for him?
Yeah,
to,
he had an
have a-
opportunity to get down there, and he was with Butlers and Survey and all
Yeah.
them, and that they were getting the Butlers were getting ready to retire, and so he bought into this ranch down there in Pueblo, and it ended up 20,000 acres. He ended up at the end of the day.
Holy smokes!
Now, that's where he got, and Wayne took over the
Canadian
operation.
side.
Yeah, Canadian side.
I see. Wow. Yeah. What else do we gotta cover? I'm just trying to think here. There's so many different things. I gotta ask you. Sorry, you got something, Don, or what are you thinking? No. I really wanted to ask you. Well, we ask everybody, but I want to ask what your definition of cowboy shit is, Blair. I gotta get that on record here too.
Cowboy shit.
Yeah,
that's what cowboys do. They're getting shit all the time. A lot of them. I like we talk about Rod
and Denny. Yeah,
they're.
How did that relationship ever start with those guys? What was it? How did it begin?
Well, that was good. I was up at the finals and
in Edmonton.
And
was it at Donnie's Coors Suite?
No, it wasn't. I just said to Duane, I said, I got to meet these Hay boys, and I said I was rolling pretty good over the.
And they were Wrangler guys, because I didn't mention it yet either. But Duane has been a Wrangler rep for 39 years.
Yeah,
long time. So you would have been part of getting those guys on the team at some point, I would imagine.
Well,
Jeff too. Okay.
No, they were going to the NFR, and that time the Etbauer boys were their
main
big competition, and they had a jet.
The only reason why Roddy never won the world.
Yeah.
Billy. And Dan too.
Yeah.
And even Glenn got one too.
But they were with Express Ranches, and they had a jet from Oklahoma. And I thought, if we're ever going to win the world title, I got to get these boys in my airplane. So I was down here, and I called them, and I hadn't even met them yet, and I said, "You guys want this airplane? I want to sponsor. You got to wear my VJV patch." And I said, "The only thing I ask you is you bring your cattle to the market and try to get some customers up in your area, and you got this airplane and whatever you want." So and then Dwayne Erickson got a hold of the story, and he phoned me. And he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm just trying to get these boys to compete for a world title I want them to go to as many rodeos as they can." And that's where they got they took it all over.
Yeah.
And then anybody they took with them, they had to just pay a part of the gas.
Yeah.
So they picked their truck, man. Dan Mortensen was one of them that rode, and I think Dustin Flundra was in there. And then I sponsored
Luke
Butterfield too, and then Kelly Armstrong. He was part of the team, and then at that time I was doing chuck wagons. I had Troy Dorchester, and so I had quite a bit going on. Yeah, I did spots. I did a lot of sponsorship at that time, but it worked out good. It was good for the business because I got a lot of customers out of it. People seeing that, and they brought their cattle.
Yeah, a lot of rodeo guys in the cattle business too. So
yes, there was, and they wore that VJV patch
on the chaps and the vest forever.
Yeah, they did, and they were good, and I've been friends with them ever since. And then of course the young boys coming up, I know Dawson very well. I got him a sponsor with Rod McWilliam and Logan. He bought him a van. And
the big sprinter van kind of thing, the rodeo van. Yeah. That's kind of different now. Those guys rodeo, and they probably fly a lot of commercial.
Yeah,
but Dawson's kind of spent a lot of time. Didn't he marry a girl from California?
Yeah, he married a nice gal from California, and just had a baby.
Yeah,
yeah. I think they called it honey hay.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they did.
So how long was that sponsorship for with those guys? I don't actually know the timelines.
I think till Roddy broke his leg in Innisfail.
2010.
Yeah, it was that long.
It was the first. That's where I filled my card that same day.
Yeah, it was probably a 10-year run with them guys.
10 years.
Yeah.
Huh. And because Roddy was first in the world that year, and he's totally demolished his leg. Like it was a total write-off. Yeah. I don't know if he even walks right still after that. It was an awful break. He's got it fixed now. Yeah. But it took a couple times, didn't it?
Yeah. Took a couple surgeries.
Yeah. I thought he was going to win the world. One of them.
Well, he was first that year too at 2010. And he made the NFR 20 times. He made it that year, and he got hurt in June. The season's over at the end of September. He was first, and he still made it in June. But
well, that was the end of it then. So it was a good
run though.
Good run. Good friends with them. Went up to Denny's wedding.
Yeah,
and
that was probably no fun.
They come in with they come over the hill with the groomsmen riding horses, shooting guns.
It's a little wild in Wildwood, I guess.
Yeah.
Eh?
Oh, yeah. It was at Fred's house, Fred and Sharon's.
Holy. And is that Wildwood or Mayerthorpe? I forget. They're
up
there pretty
at
close.
Mayerthorpe.
That was Mayerthorpe. Denny's Mayerthorpe, Rod's Wildwood. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yep.
Fun time. Okay, I don't know what else to get at here. There's probably lots more we could get to, but
Well, there's lots of good stories out of Ponoka, but
right? But only so many you're allowed to tell.
well, no, it's good. It's just good to see how it's grown and still continues to grow and be part of the organization. I'm just very proud of it. So, and it's going to get better as you know. We just keep growing, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen when you turn 100 years. We're at 87 now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 2036. Yeah, 2036 because 1936. So
Yeah.
So what do you hope to see happen in the next in that first 100 years? Like what else do you want to see, or what's your
I just don't
dream
I don't
vision?
want to see us change too much more.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, we've grown the sport. I know there's lots of changes coming down the pipe, but I just like to see us keep it the kind of the Western roots we have been, and keep to our roots, and just grow the show with prize money, and I know our fan base is going to be always growing and good. So I think with it gets televised. I think I'm excited about rodeo right now with the way it's on the television. It's getting a lot more fans. It brings a lot more fans. I noticed our fans since COVID has, just been, I don't know, they were shut down for so long, but people just wanting to do some cheap entertainment. It's not what I call real cheap, but it's very affordable entertainment for the family. Yeah.
Right now, rodeo is the best bang for your buck. When you go to like Ponoka, you're not paying $14 beers. You're not paying $240 tickets or $150. You go to the Ponokas, the Strathmores, Sundries, Wainwrights, and free parking, free camping.
Yeah, true,
you think about it. It's
Cheap
right now
entertainment still.
for a family event, and plus the other thing is you're right there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to walk 10 miles.
True.
And you're right there, and you're getting dirt on your lap.
Yeah.
So you can't be any closer unless you're competing.
Yeah.
So, the sport of rodeo is the best value for your buck right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that, in 100 years, anniversary, I bet we'll probably be, maybe double in our purse by then.
Maybe be $1 million rodeo on its own.
Yeah, and so that's be exciting to look them guys riding for a lot of money. So that's a good future for the young Cowboys. Yeah, it's just it looks exciting out there. So.
Well, there's not to single anybody out, but there's some rodeos that haven't increased their prize money in quite a while, and you guys have done it a few times in the last few years. So I commend Ponoka for striving to improve and continuing to up the ante and make things better. So I'm happy to see what you all have done in Ponoka, and I'm happy to be a part of it now.
Yeah, it's good to have you on board. It's been good, and we've had the same announcers for quite a while, and they've worked great together and good team. And of course, Ash Cooper's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's part of it, and it's a, like you say, it's a well-oiled machine, and it runs good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Blair?
No, it's just good to invite me on this show.
Thanks for doing
never been on a podcast before, especially with this coconuts.
Hey, Blair's famous line: "Good job, good job,
Good job.
good job."
Good job. Good to be part of this group right here and have me on. I'll look forward to listening to it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Duane, for being part of this morning, too.
Thank you, Teddy.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
fun.
for having us.
Yeah.
Donnie, thank you for driving us over here, too.
You're welcome, Ted. Thank
Parking
you.
job was a little suspect, but Blair, thanks for having us at the
You
place
bet.
here today, and thanks for doing this. I enjoyed the stories and the visit, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask Rod and Denny a bit more about some of these stories here. I wonder how much it cost you over the years to sponsor these guys. Like, I can't imagine setting them up with a plane like a flight like that is just unbelievable. What do you got over there, Duane?
I don't.
I don't like it. Yeah. No, they
I can't imagine though. Like giving a guy a plane, that's got to be
whatever.
$100,000 sponsorship.
It was well worth it.
It was worth it?
Well worth it. I enjoyed it and
Oh man,
got to meet a lot of people. Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and travel along with those guys. And then didn't Duane go along with them in the plane one time too, or was that driving? Duane Erickson.
He could have.
He might have?
I think he did jump in the plane.
Didn't he?
We did.
I had a film crew follow him around once,
Yeah.
and they
Remember that.
were riding with him too out of Ponoka. And
Yeah.
Followed them around that week.
Cowboy Christmas week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were winning. They were winning in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if they got the right horse, that Denny and Roddy, they were, especially Denny, he was either 90 or he's bucked off.
Yeah. Similar to kind of Dawson, hey?
Yeah.
Kind of, I want to say like Dawson kind of is following that a little bit.
Yeah.
But Kane, what about Denny? I haven't heard about Denny's kids. Did they have kids? Like, cause
I think they got all girls.
oh, they had all
It's
girls.
all
They didn't have any
girls.
bronc riders.
5 girls.
5 girls.
girls,
Holy
yeah.
smokes.
Yeah.
None of the bronc riders out of that deal.
No.
Interesting.
No. But they've got one young hay coming up now,
Devin, right? The youngest
Devin.
one? Devin, yeah.
And they say
He's going to be good too.
he's not very tall, but
Yeah.
they say you got to put that saddle right up in the shoulders because you can't
reach him.
spur him out.
Well, thanks for doing this, though, Blair, and,
Yeah.
and thanks, Donnie and Duane. This was a lot of fun to catch up, and we'll have a good rest of the winter.
Okay, thank you.
Book a tea time, Ted.
Legs are shaking, hands are aching. Head is pounding, the back is breaking. The more I give, the more they're taking. I'm broken down, there's no mistaking. There's no time now, for goodness saking. I'm a simple man, but I'm hard to please. Don't mind you making it hard for me.
Well, I appreciate Blair and the Ponoka Stampede letting us share the big news, the increased prize money that they'll pay out almost $1 million at the Ponoka Stampede this year. And if you count like some of the other activities they have on the go and the greatest horseman, like Blair mentioned, and all the events at the ag center, a few other things, like pretty major for, Ponoka. We were guessing before, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to pay $55,000 for the shootout winner just to be more than Calgary? I don't know. Like, but then somebody else actually the other day, they mentioned they don't know if Calgary's going to bring back the 100,000 ever. They don't know if they need to. Like, I'm kind of curious. I hope that they would, but Cowboys are going to go there anyways, I'm thinking. And and they're already one of the biggest. So it's kind of a bit of a catch-22, but I hope they'd bring it back to 100,000.
If they add more money and they're not going to put it to the 50, it'd be good to see. I mean, maybe more people get more chances to win a little more. But I mean, the 100,000 is pretty iconic, so it'd be nice to get it back. But it's cool to see rodeos like Ponoka
Stepping up.
Yeah, it's huge.
Well, even tonight, so Sage Kimsey has one of the one ride going, and he's the only guy to ride until the last guy goes. So Kai Hamilton stays on, and they split the pot. But if Sage was the only guy to ride, he would have won $99,000.
US.
Right? Unbelievable, right? And Sage is still $200,000 behind Kai. Like, it was a huge lead that Stetson had before the finals, let alone Kai coming in there and now being number one, and probably going to be the world champion. But with that ground money counting, I've talked about it here before. I think it's not right that it counts, but holy shit, that's a lot of dough.
I heard Donnie Gay say on the broadcast saying it's unearned money. I think is the term he used.
Kind of, but kind of not. But
he said they were talking about how they put that rule in so people could catch Sage all those years, and Sage was really mad. He said Sage was really mad when they put in the rule for the ground money counting, but he's probably glad it's in there now after that one tonight. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it counts still in your pocket, but I still go back to the argument that I think that it allows for the potential of cheating, because if one guy could make $100,000 and have it all count, then it just allows the opportunity if somebody wants to sabotage everybody and put I don't know how easily you could do it, but I mean, it just allows
people throw it or what?
No, just like if a guy sabotaged everybody else, like put like soap on the ropes so their hands just slipped out of their ropes the whole time, right? Like you could totally
sounds like a plot to like a Disney villain movie,
right? I don't know. Yeah. I just think it's not. I don't like it, but
I mean, Jared won the equivalent to 50,000 Canadian because of ground money the other night, and
they still get it. Like, I don't disagree with ground money, and I just don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it adds any value to count it towards the standings. That's just what I'm thinking. It kind of really skews all those numbers and what actually counts or doesn't count. So, anyways, man, been a fun week though. To be down in Vegas, got hooked up with Sylvain Bourgeois and BJ Prince too. We had a golf match with Dale Yergin, actually, Garrett Yergin's dad. he was a big part of the IPRA, and I think he sold it at some point recently. But we had a fun golf game on the Thursday maybe. Yeah, Thursday, and then Friday I went to Cody Johnson's golf tournament. So Jeff Chadwick texted me. He's like, "Hey, I think I got a spot for you for this tournament." So David Sharp and I don't know if I think you met David maybe at the CFR, Dustin, but we got to golf at Cody's tournament, and then I almost hit Cody with the golf ball twice in the same round.
Were you behind him or what?
No, he was cruising around and kind of like going backwards on the course the whole time, like seeing everybody and saying hello and checking in and whatnot. So he met everybody that was at the tournament, which I thought was super cool. So, but I didn't know what was going on, and I'd never been to this tournament before. But I kind of pushed one off to the right, but like kind of had some decent juice on it, and it like we all yelled four, like all four of us at the same time. But it kind of like landed in his little progression of golf carts that he had. Like he had a whole crew of people. Like there was one girl from Resistol, I think, and then a whole crew of like his whole entourage. And we yelled four, and it like landed like real close to everybody. So I get up there and talk with him a bit. I'm like, man, sorry, like didn't mean that. I wasn't trying to hit you guys or whatever. We had a good chat, and man, super nice dude. But I got a question for you, Dustin. So, I kind of skipped the rest of the hole to be able to visit with him because I was like, I wanted to have the guy on the show for a long time, right? And I was like, man, I'd love to have you in the show. We have the show called Cowboy Shit, and then David took one of the golf balls that has cowboy shit on it and gave it to him and his manager. But he introduced his manager, and I haven't fact checked this yet, but I think it could make a good story. But his manager, he introduced me to him, and he's like, yeah, this is Noe. And the guy's name is NOE. Like as far as I can tell on my text message, I'm pretty sure it's. Let me just look at this quick. Yeah, Noe. So I'm wondering though if this is a code where Cody's like, oh yeah, here's my manager, and then he gives the name Noe. Like if he was saying he's declining the interview, he's like, no, yeah, here's Noe. And then the guy gives his name as Noe, and it's like a big fake, like maybe it's like what celebrities use to deflect interviews they don't want. Right? Where if it was like he met, like if he was at the golf course like you were telling me about earlier, and he met somebody and he's like, yeah, this is my manager, his name's Yesum or something, you know, maybe it's like maybe it's a code, or it's
it's there's like a word for the ones you want to pursue and the ones you don't, right? Like.
And I'm pretty sure I got the no. Unless Noe's a real name. I haven't confirmed this yet, but I have a feeling that I might have got politely declined with a fake number. Don't know yet. Haven't got a reply yet.
If you get faked by Cody Johnson, that's also a good story. So
so we'll see if any of his people are listening, and
I was out in the Vegas National.
Want to text you back? Yeah, at the Las Vegas National. So we were talking earlier, and you and yeah, I got to say thanks to Jeff for having me. It was a lot of fun, great tournament. We weren't even close to winning, but that's not the point with those things. Great goodie bag though. We'll tell you that. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. Got some Kojo, what do you call it? Kojo cologne. So give that a little whirl because I forgot mine at home. So that's nice. Got some like 3 sweet ball caps. What else? Some golf balls, beef jerky. A lot of good stuff in the old golf bag. Some community coffee in Keurig K-Cups. That was beautiful. Cool. Yeah. But yeah, had a lot of fun at the tournament. The silent auction was a bit spendy for my blood, but pretty cool setup over there. And
that's like a historic course because that's where Tiger Woods his first ever PGA Tour win. I think it was in like 96, I want to say.
I think you're right. Yeah, somewhere in there.
And it used to be like a pretty pristine course and like was surrounded by like really elegant houses in Vegas of like famous people. And
now they probably were really nice in the 90s or the 70s and 60s. Like the Rat Pack was all there back in the day, like Sinatra and Dean Martin, I think, all had houses out there.
Yeah, so I remember like our beer car girl like pointed it out to us, and was that the course? Were we golfing there when there was a girl playing like the violin or something? Was that?
And she wrote a song about Gator. No, that was the other one that we went to, the Caesars course. That was like, it was north and it was north and east a little bit off the strip. I forget. It wasn't the National though. I know that. I remember that.
Red Rose or something.
Yeah, it was awesome. But okay, you had another story because you and Ian were golfing at Cascada, which was where so for those who don't know, the Cody Johnson tournament is kind of a bit of a, what do you call it? It's it used to be the George Strait is what I'm getting at here. And then George Strait used to be at a course called Cascada. So now Wrangler's got a, pardon?
Which is up in the mountains east of
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah. And it's far. So like kind of by Henderson, isn't it? Like, and I
Yeah.
remember it's funny because Keenan Vine just told me about this. And Keenan was like, yeah, we were at Cascada. And I looked it up and it's $500 US a round to play golf there. But apparently there's water and a creek that runs down the whole course and through like all the golf holes. Apparently, maybe is that legit or not? Or is
Yeah, and then it runs down through the clubhouse.
really?
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's like a little stone bridge and it runs through the clubhouse down to the locker. Like it's gorgeous at Cascada. Yeah, it's really nice.
But you and your uncle Ian played there one time?
Yeah, so we went there.
Back in your high roller days with Caesars.
Yeah, we got blitzed up in Laughlin the night before Caesar's Palace. I think it's a Caesar's Palace or a Harrah's or something in on the river in Laughlin. Then we pinned her to Cascada in the mountains. And yeah, it's like beautiful course, $500 around. You get a caddy and the whole works. But when you get there, you get your own individual locker. It's like this beautiful wood locker room. Like it's really fancy. And they put your name on a nameplate on your locker stall. So I walk in and I'm got my Dustin Edwards locker and I look over to the left and the name on the locker beside mine's Morgan Freeman. And I'm like, holy shit. And then I look up and the one above it is Robert De Niro. And then the one beside that is Rob Reiner, who's a famous director. And there was one more, Michael Douglas. I think that's who it was.
No way.
So I'm like, holy shit, this is pretty cool. So we take our clubs up and we're with our caddy. And I'm like, hey, I seen on the lockers like Morgan Freeman and Robert De Niro. And he goes, yeah, he goes, they're out in front of you guys. He goes, they bought the tee time in front of them and the tee time behind them so that they didn't have anyone around them. He goes, they're in Vegas filming a movie. So they were a couple of groups in front of us. And so when we got back from our round, I peeled all their names off their lockers, the little nameplates, and stole them and kept them with me. And they were actually there filming the movie Las Vegas. Have you ever seen that movie with Morgan Freeman? And,
no way.
And so it was pretty cool. And also on the course that day, there was this group on the other side of us. And there were these Chinese guys, and they were calling them Chinese whales. Like he said, they were like super rich guests of the casino. And they were using gold-plated irons.
What?
They were so rich. And we watched one of them go into like the rocks in the desert. Like there's no rock,
way.
fairway and rocks. And this guy's in the rocks with these gold-plated clubs, just hacking at this is insane.
No way.
And it was a pretty cool experience. Our caddy, like 2 days before, had caddied for like George Lopez, the comedian out there, and like
really
pretty wild. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see De Niro and Douglas and Morgan Freeman ahead of us.
But you didn't see them, and then when they got back to the clubhouse, they couldn't find their shit because you stole their names off their lockers.
Yeah, I think if I remember, Ian even opened up one of the lockers. It wasn't locked, and there was like some shit in there. He was rooting through it, and
no way.
We seen them on the course, but we never got close enough to like see them or anything. I guess they bought those tee times to give themselves space from everybody, but it was still pretty damn cool to see them out there.
Dang, that's cool.
Yeah.
Man, Vegas. What a bunch of fun stories in Vegas, hey? Well, and this week we're heading back over there to see we got a couple things back on the go over there, so
Flames blew it.
Did they lose the game?
They were up 5-3 and Colorado scored 4 goals in 4 minutes. Won
6-5 or 7-5?
6-5 it looks like. I don't think they got an empty netter, but I said you're heading back to Vegas. I cut you off with the hockey score, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, heading back up there, and then we'll be back home in a little bit. So maybe we'll see you when we're back. And yeah, thanks, Dustin.
Yeah, man. Excited to see you guys back, and excited to see this NFR finish and see what kind of storylines we can talk about next podcast from the wrap of the NFR.
Hopefully it's awesome. But once again, thanks to the crew. Thanks to Duane Robinson, Don Johansen, Blair Vold, the whole crew from the Ponoka Stampede, Amber Swedgen, the whole board of directors, Jason Rick Klein, Bruce Harbin, Rick Wiersba, the whole crew up there, the Butterfields, the Joneses, those guys are doing a heck of a job. Kudos to them for upping the ante again, adding some more prize money up for the Cowboys. It should almost be, it should almost be a thing where every rodeo has a bit of a boost. Like they should kind of go up at some point. There shouldn't be a rodeo pay $3,000 now that did the same thing 35 years ago, in my opinion. I know it's a committee thing that it's already hard to have, it's already hard to have a rodeo for a lot of folks, but we got to keep up with inflation here, and we got to kind of keep moving the bar. But I know it's tough out there, and I know it's really not possible at times, or not a priority at times. So I get it, but I feel for the contestants when the money doesn't go up. So kudos to Ponoka for making the money go up, even though they don't have to. So
good work. It's appreciated by all the contestants for sure.
Absolutely. But once again, thanks for listening. Thanks, Dustin. Appreciate you doing the show here, and thanks to our editor Sean Morton. Every time making us sound good. Appreciate it all. We'll see you all again in a couple weeks. Thanks again.
I'm gonna take a freight train down at the station, and I don't care where it goes.